All right, good morning. Swaddy Cup, Swaddy Tong Chow. What's happening, everybody? Hopefully you can hear me all right, see me all right. It's a Sunday morning, 8 a.m., early in the morning here. And let's give it a few more minutes, let some people come in, hopefully, as I sip my coffee. My wonderful Starbucks coffee. A lot to talk about today. A lot of things going on now. Little things, nothing major. Although some of the health insurance requirements have been clarified here. I don't know if they've been fully clarified because you don't really know until you know for sure what's going on. But you know, for Thailand, this is how it is. So you just gotta deal with it. I will say this though, Hua Hin was predicting how many thousand people was it? I think they were predicting 20,000 people this month, and so far they only have 56 tourists. So if you're gonna come to Thailand and you wanna travel around and you wanna see a bunch of different places, there's not many tourists here. Still, now's the time to come. That's one of the reasons why it is fun to travel, because there's not many tourists. You're not bumping into people everywhere. So yeah, that's a good thing. That's awesome, actually. And in Hua Hin, when I went to Hua Hin a couple of weeks ago, there were a fair number of people in the Hilton because they had I think there was some convention or something going on. But other than that, outside in the city, there was relatively no one. And Pattaya was still relatively dead, although I think it's picking up quite a bit. Slowly but surely, things are picking up here. And supposedly the CCSA is going to meet, I'm not sure when, maybe at the end of the month. And they're going to consider opening the bars and pubs again, but I don't know what to expect from them. You know? And this is part of the problem here for some people who are considering moving here or even traveling here, is that there's this uncertainty and this the Thais, they flip-flop so often, and that's what they say here. It's the flip-flop. they're flip-flopping so often, you don't know if you can trust anything that they're saying. One day it's this, the next day it's that, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? So here I am at Starbucks again, very quiet. There's nobody in here, just me. Me, the manager, Ken, and a barista, Mook. And that's it. Nobody else here. It is absolutely dead. Very quiet today. So let me proceed here. I need my glasses. Whew. My eyes just seem to be getting worse every day. Right now, the Thai baht is 32.83 to the dollar, which I wish it would just hit 33, a little bit above 33, and stay there, because more is better. More. The AQI, air quality index, is 69. The temperature is 84 degrees. High 93, low of 81. It has been hotter and more humid lately. It seemed like it was getting cool. At night it gets a little cooler, but the feel-like temperature is 97 degrees, 87% humidity, 50% rain, partly cloudy today, with rain expected somewhere around 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. But you know, it varies from section to section, from area of Bangkok to area of Bangkok. I've actually called people up, and they're across town on the other side of Bangkok, or 30 minutes from where I am, and they have no rain, and it's pouring where I am. So, you know, that's the way that it works. So the health insurance. Well, before I go into that, let me give a big shout out to Mr. Richard Cook. Welcome back, Richard. It's good to see you back here. You know, people come and go on the stream and in the chat, which I completely understand, because there's sometimes that I come and go here. Before I go any further, I am going to go to Chiang Mai. I had briefly considered going to Phuket instead of Chiang Mai, because there's rafting there, there's trekking there, there's all kinds of things to do. And my wife has to go there for business. And I thought, oh, well, you know, she's got a hotel. And so, you know, I can go with her and we'll have a good time there. She can go do her thing. I'll go do the rafting and everything else. But as it turned out, she really is going to be very busy, and she has one of her colleagues with her. So I'm not going to be able to do that. At least we're not going to replace Chiang Mai with Phuket. If I want to go to Phuket after the Chiang Mai trip, I can. I'm not sure that I will, though, but we'll see. So Chiang Mai is going to happen. It should be at the end of this coming week that I'll take off for a few days, you know, tootle around the city, see how things are there, go up into the mountains, do some hiking, and of course go down the river, which I'm anxious to do because I want to see how much it taxes my body. I want to see how much is it going to take out of me. Does it take anything out of me at all? Which I'm sure it will. Something. So it'll be interesting to see and to talk to people there. I've already talked to quite a few people about this. So I'm anxious to see what it's all about. But getting to the health insurance, there's a lot to go over here, but really, you know, they restate what they've already stated, and they make subtle little changes. You know, they want everybody, all the foreigners, to be covered, which that I can understand. They want them to have adequate health insurance. Because Thailand's population is aging, and well, now they're saying that the government target is 1 million. Well, that is what it is. 1 million foreigners to come live and work in Thailand over the next few years. That's 5 years. So 200,000 wealthy foreigners to come live and work here. I don't know that they're going to get that. I just don't see it. But they want people to have adequate coverage. Now, why someone who is a wealthy foreigner who is investing or is spending quite a bit of money to be here, why they wouldn't have any insurance, I don't know, but they want to make sure of it. So it says here, this is from the Thai Examiner, it says the new requirements for insurance with non-immigrant OA visa applications were announced this week as part of a range of measures decided by the cabinet in June. This will mean that foreigners retiring to Thailand and living in the kingdom can now use offshore insurance coverage, but must show $100,000 in coverage that matches the requirement of medical health service providers. Now it says 100,000 in coverage, but it also says later on that you need to have 400,000 baht of inpatient coverage. So I don't know how exactly that works, if they're thinking of the COVID or what the deals are. But it says terms and conditions differ between a non-immigrant O and non-immigrant OA visa. We've gone over this quite a bit. It says here there are differences in a wider ranging visa type with somewhat easier financial requirements. This visa is initially granted as a single entry visa and is valid for 90 days from Thai embassies and consulates. It requires insurers to cover 400,000 baht for inpatient costs, as well as part of the measure included in 2019, and it can be extended in Thailand for 1 year at a time. I think they're talking about the O visa. So it's only 400,000 baht instead of $100,000 for the OA. Let's see here. It says that they are moving to, this is going to be at some point, they're saying across the board with all different visa types. But the fact that you can buy your insurance outside of Thailand is the change. They're just basically verifying, confirming this. And insurance coverage must be verifiable and is subject to approval. This is something to think about. Subject to approval by the Immigration Bureau officer. They need to be satisfied that the insurance coverage is genuine and matches the minimum standard, which that should be fairly easy to procure and to show them. Each policy must demonstrate adequate health coverage is maintained so that medical health services can be provided, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The requirement introduced in 2019 in respect of retirement visas for those seeking a non-immigrant OA visa or non-immigrant O visa for living and working in Thailand at that point only required 400,000 insurance. Now it's going to be 100,000. This is the change. Only retirement visas are required to show any level of insurance coverage for now, but the change is coming. Marriage visas, non-immigrant B visas, or other visa types do not yet have medical health insurance requirements, although this may change in the future as Thailand looks at the question of health coverage for foreigners living and working in the kingdom. The question of the cost of healthcare for foreigners living in Thailand has become increasingly pertinent with ongoing stories of expats or visitors suffering strokes or debilitating attacks and then found to be in a position not to be able to afford the appropriate hospital care. I mean, that's pretty simple to do. What I think they need to do, if you're a tourist and you're coming to Thailand, it needs to be a requirement. In order to get on the plane, you have to show proof of insurance of a certain amount. You have to have a travel insurance. I don't know why that is so difficult for them to put into place. But thank you, Bilal. Thank you very much. Chokdi to Mr. Bilal. Chokdi all day. Issue of healthcare for long-term residents, foreigners is a growing one, as is healthcare for elderly. Healthcare is it's something that, I mean, look at the United States. Thailand's 30-baht healthcare initiative, introduced in 2002, is a success and is very popular with the public. Where the less well-off pay 30 baht as part of a co-payment system where gold card holders are given local treatment in a system overwhelmingly funded by the public purse, but with a personal contribution that works extremely well and is very popular with Thai people who use it. Well, I guess that's good to know, but that's definitely not going to work for the foreigners. Now let me see here. Yeah, a Dutchman's case was dismissed by the administrative court after he challenged a 2019 tiered pricing order. Basically, they can make whatever prices they want. That's about how it works. However, they do want Thailand to be a medical hub, medical tourist hub, and it has been for years. So I don't know why what's the difference between then and now. I think what it is they want it to be cheaper, but they don't want to be as cheap as what they give the Thais. They care to be as cheap as what they give the Thais, because then they think the system's going to get overrun and they're not getting as much money. They're not maximizing their profits. A rapidly aging society where there will be fewer workers to meet the increasing demand for healthcare resource is a key concern of the government. I didn't think of that, but as the population gets older, there will be fewer workers. There won't be enough workers to be able to handle the load. A government program to attract 1 million wealthy foreign residents to live and work in Thailand. The new money for the residency scheme, okay, I gotta look at this, may go live in January 2022, said a government spokeswoman. Non-immigrant OA visas issued to foreigners aged 50 years and above. Without insurance, retired foreigners must show proof they can pay for emergency health care. I mean, how can you show that really? What are you gonna do, show $100,000? Because you could get wiped out with $100,000, depending on what your illness is. But it could wipe you out. So I don't know how they do that. I mean, I guess if you showed a couple $1 million, maybe that would be okay. But how many people are going to be willing to do that? That's the other thing. How many people are actually willing to show their net worth to the Thai government when there are so many other places? And I just saw a thing about the Malaysia, my second home, and how some of the proposals will not go into effect or may not go into effect, and Malaysia will still be a pretty good place for people to live. So there are many other places to live, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit, because I do have an article that I found regarding where where Brits, the top 10 places that Brits go to retire. But before I go on any further, do me a favor. If you like this stream, you like the channel, leave a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe. Subscribe if you want to be updated. Click that notification bell. Go down into the description, and you'll find all the ways that you can help support the channel, and also get in touch with me and pick up one of my books, t-shirts, or whatever. The t-shirt thing in the next couple of months, because of PayPal, I don't know that my wife and I are going to register a business here. I don't know how we're going to do that. I don't even know if it's worth it. So if that happens, there are certain places that they only pay you in with PayPal, or this company called Payoneer, which I don't know if anybody else out there has used Payoneer, but I've used it, and I was dealing with, I don't know if it's a Filipino company or that's just the workers are Filipino, but man, what a nightmare it was. It was just a nightmare to use them, and I don't ever want to use them So I may have to go back to this other t-shirt provider that I was using, which most people don't care about, but they're every bit as good as the one I'm using now, if not even better. So that should be happening pretty soon. Jim, how you doing? What's happening? Yeah, but by all means, leave a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd appreciate that very much. That helps a whole lot. It's my understanding that these requirements, if you live in the country and you go out of the country, you're going to have to show proof of insurance to get back in. But that hasn't been confirmed, and so who knows? But if you are new, you're definitely going to have to show those things. The insurance, you're definitely going to have to show that. And there's always talk about the 1.2 million baht for retirement visa instead of 800,000, but as of yet, I still have not seen anything that's from the Thai government stating that this is happening. Not to say it won't happen, but I haven't seen anything. And you know what? Until it's confirmed, they change their minds every other day or every day practically. So one day it's, we're going to have to charge these, we're going to get these foreigners to pay 1.2 million baht. Well, maybe somebody goes, oh, wait a minute. The banks are only insured up to 1 million baht. How are we going to do that? And they don't want to raise the ceiling, so maybe they're gonna maybe they'll only raise it to 1 million, or maybe they won't raise it at all. So it pays. Just the thing with Thailand, patience is just so important. Patience and the whole mipe and ride. Just don't let it get to you. Just don't worry about it. Giant yen. Just relax, take it easy. Don't get your panties in a bunch too quick. For most people, I'd say if they're going to retire like in the next year, or at least sometime in 2022, they're probably going to be okay. And things are, they're not going to change that drastically. Everybody needs to have insurance. I mean, I've shown that on more than one occasion. And even when I wasn't YouTubing, I've had several times where I was in the hospital, I had insurance, everything got taken care of. I had one instance where I wasn't taken care of, and I had to pay, I don't remember how much it was now, I think it was like 150,000 baht. And the insurance that I had, I think I was using William Russell, which is a fantastic expat insurance, but it's very expensive. And they raised, the price kept going up every year. It was like 10% a year it would go up. And I was like, I can't afford it anymore. So I let it go, and I'm looking around, and I hadn't really had a chance to get a new insurance, and then I had an accident. And I was in the hospital. I'm like, son of a bitch, man, that's Murphy's Law right there. And I had to pay it myself. And listen, $150,000, that's not quite $5,000 now, but still, which is not like a massive sum of money, but who wants to pay out $5,000? It's, as they say here, better in my pocket than theirs. What is it? Gamki, di gua gam tot. Better to shit than fart. Better to keep that money than to use it, than to have to give it to them, So, the insurance thing, though, I'm sure that's going to be a hot topic for the next, until they implement it, until they make a decision, which that could be years. Until they finalize everything and say, this is the new rule, and no, if you have a marriage visa, you only have to have this much insurance, but if you have this type of visa, you're going to have to have this much insurance. Until they completely confirm it and they pass it into law, just, chill. Take a chill pill, and don't sweat it too much, you know. But you plan for it. If there's one thing that, you know, I tend to fly by the seat of my pants in just about damn near everything I do. I mean, I do plan, but nothing ever goes as planned. And when I first came over here, if there was one thing I would do, I probably would have planned things a little bit more instead of just going, all right, I got some money now. You know, I got a chunk of change. I'm just going to take off and see what, you know. But that's part of the adventure. You know, part of the adventure is just saying, I'm going to go for it. Let's go. And you really, there's a lot of things, especially back when I came over here, when the internet wasn't all that developed, and there was no YouTube, and you couldn't just find things like that. You know, you had to search in a forum, and you had to hope you could find your information. You kind of just had to go on faith, you know, and see what the information that what information you could find, and then take it from there. But now there's no reason for all that. And I always bring up Jono, which Jono and I and Longhorns had a nice lunch yesterday. We always have a good laugh when we hang out together. But you know, he planned for a long time to come over here, and he even, you know, he said to me, okay, some things are the same, but there's a lot of things that he would have never expected. You know, so you really got to take that into consideration. Well, I mean, you can, and I think this is something that Thailand has shown, the Thai government has shown repeatedly, and that is that they expect certain things. Well, thank you. They expect certain. Look at who we're in. Let me see. I want to make sure that this number is correct. Give me 1 second. Okay. Of 100,000 tourists predicted to Hua Hin for 2021, they only have seen 56 tourists since November 1st. 56. That's horrible. So, you know, and of course they never say this. Never do they say this, and I've said it repeatedly, over and over and over again. I've said this, where they had this number for Phuket predicted for the sandbox. I think it was 600,000 people and 600,000 foreign tourists and 129,000 local tourists. Now, they didn't even get 25% of the 600,000 foreign tourists. In fact, the people that they were counting, they weren't even sure. Not all of them were tourists. They were expats using the sandbox to get back in. There was nowhere near. There was something like 20,000 domestic tourists in Phuket, and I was one of those. Although I don't know if I did it before they started counting or after, but so that gives you an idea. And here they are, oh, we want 100,000 by the end of 2021. It's not going to happen in Hua Hin. There's not going to be 100,000 people. They're going to be lucky to get 10,000. They got 56 so far. And as I said, now I'm not hanging out in tourist areas for the most part. I mean, I did go to Pattaya a couple of weeks ago, and I went to Hua Hin, and there's a lot of places I went, but those were pre-November 1st, the other places. And so you can't really count that, because now things are at a different level. The opening is supposed to be a little bit, and the availability, the entry requirements are lessened. So you would think that more people would be coming in, but you know, it's still early. We're 3 weeks in to when things were supposed to be changed and easier. But I think it's going to take until, you know, after the beginning of the year before people start really feeling a little more comfortable. And so the main thing, I guess, is that how can someone who is extremely wealthy, how and why would they consider moving to Thailand and spending a bundle of money when from one day to the next things are changing? There's this uncertainty. What I think is going to happen, what I've talked to numerous people about, and we've all agreed on this, is people with fuck you money will buy places here because they can get a good deal on them. And that may change once things fully open. But they can get a good deal on things and they just go, okay, so I got a place here. They purchase a place, they get it for a good deal, and then maybe they visit once every 2 years. But they're not going to come, and most people are not going to come and start opening businesses. They're not flocking here, at least Westerners. Maybe the Chinese, I don't know. You know, I don't know much about how Chinese think when it comes to Thailand, but you know. Anyway, so you know, for people, you know, we have to differentiate between people like me, who, you know, I am an expat, and people who are tourists. We have to differentiate between that. There's always been a big difference. I've never said Thailand is not a great place to come as a tourist. Never in my life have I said that. It is a fantastic place to come as a tourist. I mean, you could come here for a month or two and you still will have plenty left to do. The only difference between a tourist and an expat is that expats have to deal with the day-to-day life and the government and the implementation of the rules and regulations and all these other things. And for me, most of the time, like the mask, wearing the mask outside, that's an irritant. It's not something that's gonna, at this point, make or break whether I wanna live in the country. The booze ban, not a big deal. The fact that booze can't be sold from certain times, from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, I don't like it, but you know, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? As a tourist, most people will find a way to get around it. I'm not hanging out in tourist areas most of the time, so it's you have to differentiate. So, you know, what they want from people who are going to be expats and investing expats, and what they want from tourists. They want these high-end tourists. Okay, they'll get some. They'll always get some. They always have. But you're still the bulk of the people coming here. And I showed some pictures and I've talked about this, but you know, this neighborhood is a blue-collar, middle-class neighborhood. It's not a poor area, and in some areas there is a bit of wealth. However, it doesn't matter where you are. You go down the street, you're going to see, in some areas, you're going to see garbage. You're going to see dirty streets. You're going to see the jumbled cables. You're going to see canals that are filled with filth, that stink, that have garbage all over the sides of them. You're going to see rundown shacks. And so I don't know that the way that it's set up right now is going to attract all the people that they want. And as Daniel said, you have to conclude gross incompetence or insane agenda. I think, you know, it's one of those things where they're, hey, Mr. Mitch, what's happening? Yes, I'm doing okay. It's one of those things where you shoot for the stars, and you know, if you get beyond the clouds, that's a win. I think that's kind of how they think. I don't know, because if you look at it from a goal-oriented standpoint, I don't think that they hit their goals quite often. But you know, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes and all that other kind of stuff. And listen, say what you will about the Phuket sandbox and the tourism industry opening up a little bit, and the economy starting to come back to life. It's starting to rev up now. It's the little guy who's been suffering. And just about anywhere I go, you see a huge number of for rent signs, or just a gutted shop. Yesterday, Longhorns and I were on the Sky Train, and we went by the coffee club on Ekamai, right in front of the Ekamai bus station, the one that goes to that we take to Pattaya, and they were hauling out all of the furniture from the coffee club. That place is permanently closed. And they're not a huge business, but they're not a mom and pop store either. So, it just goes to show you. All right, let's see here. Now they're talking about all these wealthy people coming in, and the first thing I see in this article is there is concern the new scheme could be used as a vehicle by wealthy Chinese investors to snap up hotel and tourism industry businesses and properties which are currently in distress, as the government's planned refloat of the sector falters and is unlikely to achieve anything like levels seen before the onset of the pandemic crisis in March 2020. Yeah, I don't even want to get into this. I think that this is just... Government spokeswoman Rachida Tanadirat told reporters on Saturday that talks are already underway between top officials to bring the new long-term visa and residency option into play for wealthy investors and high-income foreigners who want to come and live in Thailand. She indicated that the new visas may be available from January 2022. And for that, I will say, why not just get an elite visa? It would be a hell of a lot cheaper. They are talking about how, they're still talking about this, how to allow approved foreigners to acquire land and property. This is what I mean. Anyway, let me move on from this, because I find it problematic that's being nice. All right, now Joe Ferrari is apparently... they are the top brass are going to expedite his removal from the police force, as prosecutors are ready to charge the men involved with a range of offenses, including capital murder in relation to the brutal killing of 24-year-old drug suspect Jirapong Thanapat on August 5th in Nakhon Sawan. So we don't really need to talk about him too much, because his goose is cooked. They're not going to let something this public, they're not going to let it go. He's not going to get off. There's not going to be an OJ with this one. He's going down. He may get life in prison and then get paroled. I don't know how it's going to work, but Now, let me see what was the one thing that I was looking at here. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, great. Okay. If you do live here, you should be forewarned, and I talked about this months ago, but electric bills are slated to get more expensive between January and April of next year. It'll be more expensive, 4.3% per unit more expensive. As if my electric bill is not expensive enough. All right, let me see this here. Oh, we gotta talk about porn. what happened to that? See if I can find this here. Why is it that the one article that I really want to see, and I know I had it open, now I can't find it? You know why? Murphy's Law. That's why. Coming soon, soaring coffee prices. A global shortage of beans is already threatening to push up prices at cafes and supermarkets. Now your morning cappuccino or latte might start leaving a bitter taste for other reasons as well. Supplies were decimated after extreme weather destroying crops, with the La Nina pattern forecast through early 2022 expected to further hurt yields. It could take years for the market to recover. Well, we know if they raise the price, they're not going to lower the price again. It's not going to happen. All right, this is, let's see here. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got it. Thank you. All right. The top 10 countries that Britons move to. And guess what? Thailand is not in these lists of 10 places. Let's see here. We'll start at number 10, Italy. 65,645 people. Germany, number 9, 98,553. South Africa, I don't know why I find that surprising, but 131,310. France, all right, that I can understand because of proximity. 176,672. New Zealand, 272,436. Ireland, 293,061. Spain, 302,020. Canada, I know a guy who was British, and he tried to move to Spain, and he didn't like it, and so then he moved to Canada. Canada, 531,584 people. United States, 716,260. And which would be the number one? Anybody know the number one place where Britons move to become expats? Any idea? Anybody? The number one place that Brits relocate. Yes, indeed, Australia. That would be 1,262,204 people. I don't know how they get that exact number, but Spain is fourth. And I can tell you something else here that you might find interesting, although of course there's always a catch. There's always a catch. There are 7 places that will actually pay expats to move to their location. Which nations made the list here? Okay, Dublin, Ireland. They offer a huge cash investment for expats who move there with plans to set up their own business. The entrepreneur scheme, which helps new arrivals with will help new arrivals with the equivalent of 148,481 pounds to set up a new business. However, In order to be eligible for the scheme, business owners must be able to meet certain criteria, including being able to demonstrate that the company is capable of creating approximately 1 million euro, that's 841,990 pounds, in sales over the first 3 years. During this time, new businesses must also provide 10 new jobs. 10 jobs. All right, that's not, terrible. Chile. Expats who have a startup idea could be offered the equivalent of 23,000 pounds to start a business through the Startup Chile program. The scheme takes yearly applications, however, people will likely need to become a citizen first before beginning a new business venture. There's always the caveat. Albanen, Switzerland. This tiny village nestled in the Swiss Alps has a population of just 243 as of December 2020. In a bid to attract newcomers, the village is offering the equivalent of 19,635 pounds per person to move there. Around 10,000 Swiss francs, just over 8,000 pounds, will also be paid per child, according to a newsletter issued by the town in 2017. However, there are a few criteria new residents must meet. The first is they must be under 45 and agree to live in the town for up to a decade. If they move away before this time period, residents must pay the town back for their investment. The property newcomers choose in the village must have a minimum value of 200,000 Swiss francs. That's approximately 160,028 pounds, and be their permanent home. That's a little better, but it's like you're getting a little discount on your house. Saskatchewan, Canada is offering the equivalent of 11,537 pounds in tax returns to people who select at one of a select pre-approved list of universities. They offer a tax rebate of tuition fees. All right, so that's not really paying you to move there. Antikythera, Greece. People who choose to move to the tiny island of Antikythera could be offered a monthly allowance for up to 3 years. That sounds pretty good. The move was decided upon in a bid to boost the island's population, which at the time was just 20 residents. Those who chose to move there would receive an allowance of approximately $500 every month, as well as housing and land. In 2019, 4 families made the cut and were being sponsored to live on the island. Though there is no update for 2021, so it doesn't even tell you what the guidelines are. So if you want to check that out, go to, let me see if I can put this in here, Antikythera, Greece. Let's see here. There we go, right there. Yeah, I'm not talking politics today. I don't want to talk about politics. I'm fucking sick and tired of politics. I'm sick and tired of COVID. I'm sick and tired. All I want to think about is, and I've had this conversation with Jono, and now he's changed a little bit. He doesn't care as much about what's going on in the United States because, once you're away for a little while, you realize, hey, this is where I live. This is my home. That's not my home. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it can be sad sometimes, some of the stuff going on, but, all the politics, I feel for the Australians. I have felt for the Australians ever since I saw all the bullshit going on there. I think it's ridiculous. And I think some of the leaders need to be drawn and quartered. Yeah, that's how it is everywhere, Andy. It's hard to get people to want to go back to work. All right, let me see what else we have here. What's next? Well, Joe. Yeah, we already talked about Joe Ferrari. That's pretty sad what happened there. We talked about the insurance. Let me see if there's anything else with this insurance. Yeah, see, it's very vague when they say things. Without insurance, retired foreigners must show proof that they can pay for emergency health care. When a foreigner cannot obtain the appropriate insurance coverage as required by the new regulation, the immigration officer would require both a letter showing a rejection of his or her application and then would need to see adequate evidence that the visa applicant had the financial resources to pay for any emergency or medical treatment requirements while living in Thailand. So in other words, it's basically up to them. You're at the mercy of the Thai immigration, because one day the guy could say, okay, you got $100,000, that's plenty, and the next day a guy could go, no, that's nowhere near enough. Here's one, economic recovery. I was talking about this. Signs of economic recovery are visible, but Thailand's small businesses and households are still struggling to survive. What's going on here? As uncertainty about COVID-19 gnaws at the local and global economy. It says here that after Thailand reopened its doors on November 1st to fully vaccinated tourists, the number of arrivals has seen a steady, sharp increase. The number of arrivals between the 1st and 16th rose to 58,870, according to the Center for COVID Situation Administration. The numbers are encouraging. He hoped Thailand would receive about 100,000 tourists a month in the initial stages of the country's reopening. Okay. The estimate, listen to this, the state-run think tank, the National Economic and Social Development Council, on November 15th estimated 257,000 foreign tourist arrivals this year. All right, that I can see. And 5 million next year compared to 6.7 million last year when Thailand was hit by the pandemic. I actually think it might be somewhere between 5 million and 10 million. I think I've talked about that before, but I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. Let's see here. What is this? Yeah, there's supposed to be flooding from the 23rd to the 25th. I've even seen to the 28th of this month down south. Heavy rainfall in Prachuap Khiri Khan, Chumphon, Surat Thani, Nakhon Si Thammarat, Patalung, Songkhla, Renong, and Trang. If the rainfall exceeds 90 millimeters in any location, they must immediately alert local people to prepare for evacuation. Low-lying areas in Satun, Trang, and Krabi are already experiencing flooding. In Satun, about 1,000 households in 6 sub-districts, including 2 villages of the Moken Sea Gypsies on Lepe Island, are now underwater. Wow. In Lamtam district of Krabi province, residents of village 4 in Tung Sai Thong sub-district are facing the second flooding of the month. So flooding is also always an issue in Thailand, but in the next couple of days, it's going to be even more of an issue. So we'll see what happens there. International travel is not over. It's just nonsense. It's going to slow down. I mean, it's slowed down, and it's going to steadily increase, and it's going to be slower than in the past, of course, but it will get back to I don't know if it'll get back to what it once was, but saying it's over is just nonsense. Because I plan on doing some international traveling sometime next year or the year after that. Just depends on how things go. And I know many, many people who are traveling. Just because you don't want to get out of your comfort zone, me so hungry, doesn't mean that other people won't do so. And I know that because I get people telling me all the time, I got my ticket, I'm preparing to go on this day, whatever it might be, you know. So, yeah. I think, no, he's not there yet, I don't know. But I think Chucky is going to Mexico in the next week or so. Something like that. And then, you know, he's got plans to go other places next year. And maybe I'll go with him, maybe I won't, I don't know. Longhorns will be traveling in the next week, a couple of weeks, and then he'll be traveling in the next couple of months to come back here. So I just don't see that, you know, I don't see the big change forever. Yeah, I think places need to welcome the traveler. Places that are making it too much of a hassle. And I'm not going to say it's Thailand. And I have to say, I was not aware of something. To get into the United States, you don't need a test, but to get on the plane to go to the United States, apparently you do need a PCR test. Now that I wasn't clear of, so I apologize to the guy who I was telling no to. But you know, that's the way it goes. If travel was already somewhat expensive, if it's made any more expensive, then people are just going to go, screw you. We're not going to take your airline. We'll go somewhere else that's a little cheaper, and then there's going to be fare wars. It's going to happen. And I can tell you that just going to Chiang Mai, listen, I was surprised. I was like, son of a bitch. I couldn't believe that, you know, there's always these little airlines that are going to, say, Chiang Mai, and they're like 800 baht, 1,000 baht, 1,200 baht. Now, I mean, it's like some of them they're asking like 2,500 baht each way. I'm not talking about Bangkok Airways, I'm talking about the budget airlines. They're asking like 2,500, 3,000 each way, which is just, I'm like, okay, I guess. But you know, you can go on the train, and my wife and I still haven't decided, are we going to take the train? What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Because she told me the other day she hadn't taken the train in a while. But if I take a train with her, I want our own room. I don't want to do the bunk bed kind of thing where everybody's walking by. I don't want that. And if I go alone on a train, I just go in a chair. That's all I need. I don't care. I get myself one of those VIP chairs, and that's good enough. I found a quarantine hotel which cost 100 Aussie a night, which is 70% off, but they charge $250 for an airport pickup and test. Wow. Yeah, but me so hungry, I think your truth is not in line with what the truth really is. That's the whole point. I think you're wrong. So let's just leave it at that. I think you're wrong. I don't think international travel is over, because if it was over, nobody would be traveling to other countries, and there are indeed many people that are traveling. I can't tell you how many people have told me, you know, I'm going to Mexico, or I'm in Mexico now. There's quite a few. So, you know, when's the last time you traveled? Have you traveled? Were you traveling before the pandemic started? Were you traveling, going international, or what's the deal with that? Or were you just traveling in the United States or throughout Arizona? The 90 days insurance, 7,500 baht. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. My AQS hotel costs $250 pickup test. That's ridiculous, man. That is ridiculous. But I can tell you that I found quite a few hotels that are very reasonably priced. In Chiang Mai and also in Bangkok, there's quite a few that are very, very reasonably priced. All right, it's 9 o'clock. Listen, do me a favor. We've got 62 people watching. Leave a thumbs up if you like this. If you like this stream, you like the subject, the conversation, the channel itself, whatever it might be. Leave a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. That's free. You can subscribe. That also is free. You can go down in the description. There's all kinds of ways you can help support the channel, both free and not. But you can also become a member of the channel by hitting the join button down below the video window, and there are numerous other ways that you can help support the channel as well. So I have to say that, and you know, trust me. I don't trust you. I'm sorry. I don't trust you. It's going to get more and more expensive. Look at gas. Look at the supply. Well, prices are always rising. So, you know, love it. I'm happy I could make it for a bit this morning. I've lost 4 kilos. I'm going to need some new shirts. Fantastic. Better learn how to protect your savings wealth or gonna get destroyed. Well, I think we're pretty well protected. So, but yeah, me so hungry. Sorry. I don't trust you, and I don't expect you to trust me. So, that's about how simple it is. No offense, but you know, trust does not come easily. It comes by being earned. And gas prices have been going up. Like I said the other day, it used to, before I came here. Now this is about, I'm going to say 32 years ago. Something like that. I was living in Huntington Beach, California. I had a motorcycle, a Yamaha shaft-driven 650, very nice motorcycle. Love that motorcycle. And I'd go and fill up the tank, and the gas was 75 cents a gallon. Now that is somewhere between, I think somebody said the other day it was like $4 and change up to about $5 a gallon. So, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to blame that on the pandemic? Prices go up, inflation, and it sucks. And yes, inflation will be higher in the coming years, I think in the next 2-3 years, than you know, than in the past. Lohas, wow, that's funny you say that. Lohas. Isn't Lohas like off of Nana, off of Soy Nana? Is that the one I'm thinking of? My wife used to do business with them. Now let's see, did I hit all the places that were Antiquera, Antiquera, Greece, Ponga Village, Spain, is offering families £2,526 to help them settle in, plus an additional £2,526 for each baby born in the town. And of course, it doesn't show you any of the requirements. Candela, Italy, pays new residents the equivalent of £1,707 to live there. I don't know. Is that going to make me want to live there? No. Newcomers must meet certain criteria. They must take a full residency in Candela, rent a house, and have a job with an annual salary of at least €7,500. Well, I don't think that that's too ambitious, but that's the way it goes. So there you go. Those are the 7 places that will pay you to move there and live there. My 14 sandbox hotel is 8,000 baht, no meals. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we can all agree that that when it comes to the pandemic, Thailand has just, I mean, they're charging people far more than many, many other countries that are, and Thailand is not considered the wealthiest of countries, but or the most expensive country, but they are charging quite a bit more money. Yeah. Now, let's talk about something that I'm sure all you guys really want to talk about. And that is porn regulation in Thailand. Second from the right. Okay. See what they're saying here. I love how there is a warning over, let's see, man, what is going on? It's so slow. There's a warning over the bid to legalize porn videos. Warning here in Thailand. The MPs in favor of legalizing this may breach the ethical code. MPs have been warned not to support a proposal by a group calling for the legalization of pornographic videos, or they could breach the ethical code for parliamentarians. Santya Sawatdi, an advisor to the House Committee on Law, Justice and Human Rights, issued the warning, saying he will submit a letter to Parliamentarian President Chuan Lik-tai to oppose the proposal which seeks to amend Section 287 of the Criminal Code. The section prohibits trade in, distribution, and advertising of obscene material with penalties of up to 3 years in prison, a fine of 6,000 baht, or both. He warned MPs who support the proposal they could violate the ethical code of conduct. He's referring to Sira Jenjaka, a Palang Pracharat Party, PPRP, MP for Bangkok, who is the chairman of the House Committee. On Wednesday, Mr. Sira threw his support behind the proposal, saying he will help push for an amendment to the law. He said there is no need to set up another committee to consider the proposal because the House Committee is already looking into the possibility of legalizing sex toys. So there you go, guys. However, again, it ain't over till it's over. He said that Section 287 also involves a ban on the advertising and distribution of pornography on online platforms. Representatives of the Ministry of Digital Economy and Society, the Culture Ministry, and the Council of State, which is the government's legal advisory body, will be invited to discuss the matter. Mr. Sira added he has felt sympathy for people who have resorted to creating sexual content to eke out a living in a time of economic hardship by COVID-19. Now, that leads me to something else, which is, I don't know that they're doing it intentionally, but it sure does seem like many countries, and some of them I'm sure they are doing it intentionally, but many countries are cutting off the ways for people to earn a living. If a Thai girl wants to earn a living, she loses her job working at a bar, she loses her job working in an office, and she is practically destitute. What is she going to do? The government's not going to help her. So what's she going to do? She's going to resort to whatever she can to make a living. And the fact that they're so worried about this when they know that, listen, I see Thais walking around with Pornhub t-shirts on. Now, where'd they get that t-shirt? You think it's just, maybe they got it at 99 baht? Maybe. But maybe they got it from Pornhub. You know, maybe they're members or whatever, I don't know. But I think this I'm your daddy mentality of the Thai government, personally, I find it as a Westerner, I find it extremely irritating. Because, you know, Westerners and Americans in particular, they don't like to be told what to do. They like to have the freedom to choose and do what they want to do. And you can say that it hurts people. And maybe it does, but so do a lot of other things. It's like saying, oh, well, you know, we can't open the bars, which, by the way, the reason they're not opening the bars is because supposedly the bars are not SHA, they haven't met the requirements. They're not certified. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is because the bars are not set up to be able to handle these kind of situations, which it's just, you know, what do I say, illogical logic. How is who going to have any money for international travel? I'm not talking about, this is regarding Thailand, what I'm talking about right now. There are people with money to travel. There are always going to be business travelers, and they'll just incorporate they'll just raise prices to be able to handle the increases. Oh, royalty. Love to see that. All right, that's where VPN comes in handy, referring from a friend. Now, listen, we could get into the whole political discussion, and you know, what are you talking about? Me so hungry? What are you talking about? How many businesses will be left? None. Okay, none will be left. And everybody's going to be on their own. They're just going to be scrambling for food. They're going to be eating bugs, and that's how it's going to be. I mean, really, what you're saying, you're talking out your ass today. People have money for traveling. They may not. It's to be expected after some people being out of work for years. They may not. It's not going to get back to normal immediately, but things will slowly morph back to normal, or at least back to a certain level that will be close to normal, to what it was before the pandemic. And you know, one thing that people don't talk about is that, well, there are a lot of businesses that are shut down here. People go, you know what? I'm paying 30,000 baht. I'm paying 30,000 baht a month to keep my business open. If I shut my business down, I've got plenty of money in the bank. I don't lose money, and then I can reopen the business at a later date. There are people who are doing that. Thailand nightlife will return to 30 years ago with lower prices, friendlier girls, and cheaper drinks. Don't count on it, buddy. That's not how Thailand works. Thailand works like, we've been out of business for 2 years. We don't have that many customers, so let's raise the prices. That's how they think. What kind of pictures and videos are you talking about, Mr. Mitch? You know. Don't put anything on your phone that you don't want anybody to see. me so hungry, I really don't think you know what the fuck you're talking about. Sorry, that's my opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion, but I disagree with you. I think you are talking out of your ass. You'd be surprised at just how many wealthy Thais there are here. And while the spread between the middle class and upper class and lower class has widened, I do believe that, you know, I've said this for a long time, but you never count out the Thais. Don't count them out. Don't count them out. That's one thing that I've learned. You don't count them out. Because they're very pragmatic. They will find a way. That's the other thing. Some of the businesses are shut down. You know, maybe they've got a little coffee shop that the wife's been running or something like that, and they tell the wife, listen, take a little money, go open up a little shirt shop down the street, down at like the park, and earn, you know, $10,000 a month. I'll run the coffee shop. We got plenty of money in the bank, don't sweat it. And my business, once things get back to normal, I'll think about opening it up again. That's how it works. Anyway, all right, let me go on here. I know I have a couple other things to talk about, or at least I think I do. All right, yeah, so here's the thing about the CCSA meeting. Again, if a bar is the only thing you're waiting for to come to Thailand, I mean, I understand it, because, you know, people come here, some people come here to party and to hook up with chicks at bars. But there are other things to do. Especially if you're watching this stream, you're probably not in your 20s or 30s. You're probably more like in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I would say a fair percentage are married, or they don't care as much about running around as they used to. Facing enormous pressure from entertainment and nightlife workers and businesses, the National Security Council Secretary General hinted that lifting the ban on nightlife will be up for discussion at the next CCSA meeting. He said Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha understands and sympathizes with those in the industry, but also worries about the COVID-19 situation as infections are still high. They're not that high. Rubbish. Worry about the road carnage. Worry about that. You get 50 people, 100 people dying in any one weekend, and forget about if it's a holiday weekend. I mean, so why don't you worry about that? Clean that up. Stop worrying about the 50 people dying from being old and from the flu, and maybe 2 out of those people were young and they had some kind of pre-existing conditions. It rubs me the wrong way now. It's gone on long enough. Scott says it's gone on too long enough. That's what I say. My opinion. My brain, my mouth, my opinion. I think most politicians haven't got a clue on what it's like, especially career politicians. They don't have a clue what it's like for the average person. Businesses and workers affected by the shutdown since April have been increasingly frustrated and vocal about their plight, participating in protests and presenting petitions to government officials. Well, I guess the government officials have listened, haven't they? They don't listen. They're not for the people. They're for themselves. My opinion. My mouth, my opinion. Participating in as some recent petitions will be reviewed and considered at the next CCSA meeting sometime around the 26th of November. No, I didn't see that because I don't listen to Fauci and I don't want to hear about him. I'm sick of hearing about the guy. The NSC official suggested that the committee may relent an unpopular rule barring nightclubs, pubs, bars, karaoke, and other nightlife venues from opening may be softened or lifted. Whatever remains of a high season is happening now, and while many businesses are seeing an uptick in patronage, entertainment venues are being blocked from seeing any profits until after New Year's Eve, a night that is obviously crucial to nightlife businesses, with the previous ruling delaying possible reopening until at least January 15th. The ban isn't only hurting the businesses though. There is widespread sentiment that tourism won't recover in any significant way as long as alcohol and entertainment remain banned. Okay, I can kind of agree with that, but while some teetotalers take the position that there's more to Thailand than going out and getting belligerent drunk all night. Yeah, but not everybody who goes drinking gets belligerent. Only a small percentage. So that's just more nonsense being spewed by the media, by the governments, whatever. Going out and getting belligerent drunk all night at a throbbing club with pounding music. What's wrong with that? A large percentage of travelers trying to enjoy a leisure vacation, even those who don't go clubbing, are interested in coming to a country where they can't even have a beer with dinner. Here is what I think people are missing, the government is missing. It's not about the fact that they can't drink. Most people are not, they're not alcoholics to the point where the majority of people, I'm saying, I'm sure there are alcoholics out here, or are like, I'm not coming to Thailand until I can drink. I think what it is they don't like being told what they can and cannot do when it comes to having a freaking beer. It's just ridiculous. And you know why? Because I said so. Infections are still high. They will go up and down for years to come. I don't know what would happen here, but I do know that there are a lot of places that they open up and stay open later than they're supposed to. They serve drinks and maybe they're not supposed to. And every once in a while there's a little crackdown, or the cops come out and they catch people. But so many people are brainwashed and believe the government. Well, why do you think I took off my news apps off my phone? Because I got sick and tired of seeing them. Listen, I don't know, has anybody heard of a phone called the OnePlus? The 9 series, the 9R series. It's the OnePlus is the name of the phone. It's got a Hasselblad camera on the phone. It's supposed to be really, really good. I'm wondering if anybody out there has heard of it or has it. Over 100,000 people marched here yesterday. Media says 20,000. I can't even read, I don't even want to read the news anymore. And I'm doing it here because some things that are going on affect people that are coming here or people who are living here. So I think it's important. But at the end of the day, is the insurance going to affect me? No, it's not. It's not going to affect me at all. It's a bit of an irritant. Nobody likes to pay more. Hey, guess what? Your budget's going to go up whether you like it or not. No one likes that. But other than that, is it going to bug me? Is it going to bug some other people? Hey, it just irritates you a little bit, but you get on with life. I feel for the people who are planning their retirement and now they're going, hey, I'm going to have to budget a higher amount. So, but I make sure I got enough money. And this is the thing, the people saying $1,000, $1,000, my ass. On the other hand, you don't need $2,500, but you're gonna need more than $1,000. Yeah, I heard of the OnePlus. OnePlus is a pretty good phone. Bought one for my brother a couple months ago. Good phone. I did consider it. I don't have it, but very good reviews. Yeah, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of the camera. And maybe, yeah, well, that's it, really. The camera. It's got one of the best cameras out of all the phones out there. And it's got a Sony chip. But, you know, I'm not too thrilled about any Huawei. I have a Realme phone as a backup. Yeah, well, that's interesting. I'll, you know. Now, my phone is getting a little long in the tooth, but it still works fine. So, you know, I don't really need anything, but I would like a better camera on a phone. So I'll have to see, you know. And it's not all that expensive here compared to the iPhone. Man, you get an iPhone, what is it now, 13? And it's like $1,300 US. I'm like, imagine you just, I left it in a taxi, which has happened to me before. It hasn't happened in a long time. Because now, let me just teach you a real quick, I'll give you a real quick tip about when you're using a taxi. Get out ass first. That's very simple. You stick your ass out of the door and you look into the taxi as you're getting out. And that tip alone has saved my ass and saved my phones several times. In the old days, you just get out, you step out. No, that doesn't work. I think Longhorns is Samsung, is older Samsung, and it has, I don't remember which model it is, but it has 48 megapixel camera, which the amount of megapixels is not the only thing to consider, because there are other factors, but that's pretty good though. Went for the Galaxy Note 20, pretty great phone, but pricey. Yeah, I don't really have the money to piss away on a new phone. You know, but I'm thinking of, okay, you know, should I start saving for something? And then the thing is if you start saving for something that takes you 6 months to save up the money for it, at the end of that 6 months, there might be something else out, you know. So it's another thing to consider. Let's see here. Let me go over all my lists here. All right, the warning about so. In other words, I want to get back to the whole porn thing. What I think is kind of humorous is you're not even able to propose it because it breaches ethics. So you can't even propose changing a law, which to me is just ridiculous. It's just nonsense. I know, you know, listen, porn it is what it is. And you know, if you got to keep it out of the wrong hands, so to speak, or the wrong eyes. But that doesn't necessarily, and it's just like alcohol, prohibition. Prohibition didn't work. Yes, they do have Black Friday sales. The girl's name, Nong Kai Now, Miss Bad Egg. That was her name, the girl who got caught having sex with her boyfriend. Maybe that's what got her off. I mean, you know. To each his own. Where is the freedom? No freedom. There is no true freedom, you know. Look at it this way. The tribe leaders, they tell you what to do. You either do it or you don't. And if you don't, you suffer the consequences. And in some cases, yes, you can rise up, you can bitch and moan, you can do things. But in many cases, you can't do a thing. The computer is very slow today, again. So I'll just sit here and wait for it. 9:30, they're getting ready to open up. Another 30 minutes, they'll open up here. see if I can get to my page. Oh. Still only me and 2 other people here. That's it. You'd think on a Sunday morning it'd be a little more packed. Longhorns and I went to a coffee shop yesterday called Yest. Not Yes, but Yest. Y''EST. Coffee. And that's not the exact name. What the hell's going on here? And the coffee was very good. But it was the strangest setup because it's right off of Sukhumvit, and you would think the place, it almost looks like a furniture store because they have these really nice sofa. They're like very old style, like an old person's sofa, but very, very nice and very comfortable. So what happened to my computer? Too many tabs open, maybe. Yeah, I don't, Lenovo, I don't know. It's become a lot more popular in the past few years. There was a time when I would never have considered a Lenovo. But from what I hear, they got some good stuff. They got some good computers. And supposedly good phones. All right, let me see if I can get this thing. I'm always having technical difficulties here. My computer is like the rap god of computers right now. Yeah, there you go. They can't promote change to say, okay, we want to allow porn. All right, I'm not going to go any more into that. It looks like it closed that. Looks like it's starting to work a little better now. Jesus Christ, man. No. No shout outs to the rap god. All right, so the meeting is coming up. It should be in the next week. They'll have the meeting about the bars and the pubs and everything. So for those of you who are dying to come here, but you're waiting for the pubs to open up and the bars to open up, it may happen. It may happen December 1st. It still might happen. Let me see here. Maybe it's this. Coming next will be soaring coffee prices. We've already went over that. Household electricity going up. Flood alert. Oh, here's something. Scientists are mystified as Africa seems to be avoiding the COVID disaster. In Zimbabwe, at a busy market in a poor township outside Harare this week, Nyasha Nidu kept his mask in his pocket as hundreds of other people, mostly unmasked, jostled to buy and sell fruit and vegetables displayed on wooden tables and plastic sheets. As in much of Zimbabwe, here the coronavirus is quickly being regulated to the past as political rallies, concerts, and home gatherings have returned. COVID-19 is gone. When did you last hear of anyone who has died of COVID-19? Nadu said. The mask is to protect my pocket. The police demand bribes so I lose money if I don't move around with a mask. Earlier this week, Zimbabwe recorded just 33 new COVID cases and 0 deaths, in line with a recent fall in the disease across the continent, where the World Health Organization data shows that infections have been dropping since July. When the coronavirus first emerged last year, health officials feared the pandemic would sweep across Africa, killing millions. Although it's still unclear what COVID-19's ultimate toll will be, the catastrophic scenario has yet to materialize in Zimbabwe or much of the continent. Scientists emphasize that obtaining accurate COVID-19 data, particularly in African countries with patchy surveillance, is extremely difficult, and warn that declining coronavirus trends could easily be reversed. There is something mysterious going on in Africa that is puzzling scientists, said Wafa El Sadar, chairman of global health at Columbia University. Africa doesn't have the vaccines and the resources to fight COVID-19 that they have in Europe and the United States, but somehow they seem to be doing better. Okay, that's the long story short right there. They're doing better. Okay, hang on a second, I'll continue. I think I got my computer squared away here, finally. What happened? Well, hang on a second, I'll go on and see exactly what the deal is. All right, now we're back. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, let's blame it on the TV. Actually, I blame it on the media. Oh, we don't have any way to make money. Well, let's just talk about this pandemic thing. Well, I was thinking about it yesterday, and think about what Thailand is. Okay, you figure out what the best word is when it comes to how Thailand is governed. But it definitely isn't democracy. Now, let me continue here, because now I got to back up. Fewer than 6% of people in Africa are vaccinated, and yet the WHO describes Africa as one of the least affected regions in the world. Maybe that's because they're not getting any money from anybody to say, oh, this guy who's 90 years old, he died from the COVID, when he just died because he's old. Some researchers say the continent's younger population, the average age is 20 versus 43 in Western Europe. Oh man. In addition to their lower rates of urbanization and tendency to spend time outdoors may have spared it the more lethal effects of the virus so far. Several studies are probing whether there might be other explanations, including genetic reasons or exposure to other diseases. Authorities are used to curbing outbreaks even without vaccines, and credited the extensive network of community health workers. It's not always about how much money you have or how sophisticated your hospitals are. It's also about, I'm not going to go there. I was going to say it's also about the mainstream media and somebody named Fauci. I think there's a different cultural approach in Africa where these countries have approached COVID with a sense of humility because they've experienced things like Ebola, polio, and malaria. In past months, the coronavirus has pummeled South Africa, and it is estimated to have killed more than 89,000 people there, by far the most deaths on the continent. But for now, African authorities, while acknowledging that there could be gaps, are not reporting huge numbers of unexpected fatalities that may be COVID-related. WHO data shows that the deaths in Africa make up just 3% of the global total. In comparison, deaths in America and Europe account for 46% and 29%. So there you go. In Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, the government has recorded nearly 3,000 deaths so far among its $200 million Man, I'm out of here. I am just out of here. 200 million population, so 3,000 out of 200 million. The U.S. records that many deaths every 2 or 3 days. The low numbers have Nigerians like Opimipo Are, a 23-year-old in Abuja, feeling relieved. They said there will be dead bodies on the street and all that, but nothing like that happened. It does beg the question, why are they not dying? Maybe their systems are much stronger than the average city goer who spends his time in offices and in coffee shops. I don't know. Guy's got his GoPro out. That doesn't mean, however, that vaccines aren't needed in Africa. We need to be vaccinating all out to prepare for the next wave, said Salim Abdul Karim, an epidemiologist at South Africa's University of KwaZulu-Natal, who previously advised the South African government on COVID-19. Looking at what's happening in Europe, the likelihood of more cases spilling over here is very high. If it hasn't happened now, why would it happen in the future? It's been 2 years, there's a hell of a lot of Chinese in Africa. So I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Anyway, you know what, I could go on and on and on and on about this, but quite frankly, I'm sick of talking about the COVID. You guys want to talk about something Thailand related? Thailand related? Okay, great. Thailand. I live in Thailand. What is this? Wave 100? Oh yeah, how many waves? How many waves you give me? 3, 6, there we go. There's 10 waves. Here's the thing, though. At the end of the day, people just want to get through this and say, I lived through it. It's over now. And let me just live my life. Well, here in Thailand, you're required to show that you're vaccinated to get into certain places. As you are in the United States. Hey, maybe Africa's the next expat destination. I don't know. You know. Let's see here. Ugh. Ugh. Me so hungry. Just say something positive today, please. You know, quite frankly, you know, I just don't give a fuck anymore. I just want to live my life, okay? I don't want to think about all this bullshit all the time. And you can say what, you know, oh, it's gonna get worse, it's gonna get worse. You don't know. You really don't know. Who are you that has the in? You're guessing. That's all you're doing. You're guessing just like me. You know, well, you know, Australia seems to be a bit strict, to put it mildly. Seriously, to put it mildly, they're a little. They've been a little strict there, and that's one thing I am grateful for here. They're not that strict. Listen, I've seen people walking around on the streets here now, not wearing masks. Yesterday, I was outside walking around with Jono and Longhorns. People walking around. Most of them had masks on, but a lot of people. You know, some people didn't. And then I'm sitting in the lobby, and you know, I'm talking to Jono and Longhorns, and we're the only ones there, besides the girl behind the freaking plexiglass and her masks and all this other stuff. And there's nobody there, so I take my mask off. You know, Billy goes and does his thing in the can, and then these two guys come out. One guy's got a mask on, one guy doesn't have a mask on. He's walking around, he didn't have a mask. Then these two Thai guys come out, and they were like together. One guy's got his mask on, the other guy doesn't have his mask on. They walk right out the door. He doesn't care. He's like, I ain't wearing a mask. Gunn wears mask. Same with the other guys, the foreigners. So, you know, eventually people just go, I'm done with all this. I just vacuumed and made my place smell pretty. I also hit 7 out of 8 on Penny for. Okay, good for you. This is so important, isn't it? I vacuumed my place so it smells pretty. That's nice. Yeah, the number that went to the numbers that went to Phuket in the sandbox that they were predicting and the numbers they actually got, it's ridiculous. I mean, you know, it's like, come on. It's like me saying, you know what? In the next 3 days, I'm going to get $4 million in donations through my YouTube channel. $4 million. Now, what's the truth? If I'm lucky, I'll get $4 or $40 or whatever. But I ain't getting $4 million. That's like what the Thai government does. Like, oh, yeah, we're gonna get 78 million. We're gonna get 300 billion people. Wait a minute, there's not that many people on the planet. How are we gonna do that? That's about what they do. Had a hike in the forest with my friend and puppy. It was lovely. Well, that sounds nice. It's all about priorities. What's important? And I was telling Carlos, and you know, I've said this to other people, but you know, our dog passing away really, not that you don't know that things can happen, but it really put it in perspective that, hey, you know what? 1 minute somebody can be here, the next minute they can be gone. You better enjoy it while you can, because the ride might be over and you're not prepared for the end of it, And you better enjoy your time with your friends, your family, the people that really matter. Everything else is just fluff and bullshit. And that's, that's the way I look at it. And that has slowly changed over the years for me, but especially in the last few years. So, I'm sad that the dog is not with us. I'm sad that Odie is not with us. And of course I'm sad. And walking into our place, opening up the gate, he's not there wagging his tail, and we're seeing him, laying down in his crate, or just seeing his empty crate. All those things make me think about him. But I'm glad that he's not suffering, he's not in pain, and that it's over for him. Because if it was hard for us, I know it was hard for him. And so in that sense, I'm very grateful. But I'm also grateful for the time that we had with him, and we won't forget him. But the point is that you damn sure better remember that you better get everything into your life that you feel important while you can, because it's over before you know it, Brought back a lot of memories about the loss of my boxer. Yeah, 15 years, that's a lot. That's a lot. Well, yeah, one of my buddies said something to me a long time ago. I'm always trying to plan for something. I'm always planning a trip, planning I gotta try to buy this boat, or I gotta try to go on this journey. I gotta do this. I want to walk here. I want to do this. Well, that's to keep my mind interesting and in trying to do it, and try to achieve something. I don't always do this stuff, but it's something to look forward to. The fact of the matter is, how you live day to day is what's most important. I wake up I wake up before my wife, a couple of hours before, but most of the time, at least 3-4 times a week, we have coffee together, sit at the table and have a coffee together and just talk a little bit. And then, the kids start mulling around, and, we usually have dinner as a family a couple of times. All those things are what's really important. That's what's important, those day-to-day things, Shows those over any stuff. The missus got it 10 hours in. What? 10 hours in. Should be a few days from now. Losing pets are like losing, it's not like losing a family member, it is losing a family member. And, as I said before, our other dog, Lala, the little small white, like Toto-like kind of dog, it was just one day we walked outside, Lala's gone. That was the end of it. And, it was just boom, oh wow. This was a progression of 2 weeks. And that's what, that was what was really hard. But anyway, I don't want to be a downer about it. The whole point was that, all this stuff, listen, we're still alive. We're still alive. As long as you're still alive, the way, I hate to sound, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. But, as long as we're still alive, there's still hope that you can do some things that you want to do, and, it beats the alternative in most cases. don't be sad that I'm gone, but rejoice that no, glib is not the word I was looking for. Anyway, so, I mean, it's great that, like, you go and do things, you go and travel, you've been places, because those are like markers in time, like music, where was I when Peter Frampton, Frampton Comes Alive, when that album came out and it was such a big, where was I at that point in my life? That's what trips are kind of too to me. And also remember that guy that I met? I still remember people that I met, like in Nepal, in Burma, all over the world. I still remember certain people, and I know if I went back and saw that person again, it'd be like, hey, how you doing? What's happening? Those things are important. It's not, hey, I got to travel to this place. That's nothing to do with that. The problem is there are certain people and institutions that are making life more difficult, and that it needs to be for vast numbers of regular people around the world. Yes. This is the problem. There are too many people trying to tell other people what they have to do, and I don't know why my reasoning has always been this way. But I never liked people telling me what to do. I never liked my mother telling me what to do. I never liked my father telling me what to do. I never liked them telling me what I need to do. You need to do this, you need to do that, and I'd be like, no, I need to do the opposite. But the difference is they did what they did, and they said the things that I needed to do out of love and out of, having my best interest at heart. Whereas it seems now that the government officials in various countries, they have none of our best interest at heart, and they have absolutely no logic behind, they have no reasoning that people can look and go, okay, I understand that, I agree that, yeah, okay. In most places, it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? I still wish, and I really should do like some hardcore research on this. Why is it that the Thai government believes if they cut out the number of hours you can buy alcohol, that is going to decrease the number of people that have problems with alcohol, or the number of accidents, because clearly the accident toll on the roads is what it is, and it's not good. It's the worst country in the world for road accidents. So I don't think the alcohol or not, I mean, maybe it would be even worse, but why do you have to be so power hungry? What's the point of all that? To piss people off? To just to have to feel good about yourself? So this is what I don't get. And the more that I think about it, and especially lately, I use that phrase all the time, I just don't get it. I don't get it. And maybe you'll never get it. Now this place is filling up. There's a lot of people around. You got a handful of people over to my left. Anyway, interesting conversation. Most of the time, it's much ado about nothing. Think about when you're young. You think, if your friend says something to some chick, you think it's the end of the world. He said this to that girl, and now she thinks I'm a dumbass, or whatever it is. Who cares? Really, at the end of the day, who cares? You're gonna let one chick's opinion, change the way you feel about yourself? So, anyway, they're opening up now, which means people are coming in and people are leaving Starbucks to get outside. can see all the people passing by now. So, hey, chowderheads, and those who are not chowderheads. What's the opposite of the chowderhead? I have to think about that. What is it? It can't be anti-chowderhead. The chowderhead. Thank you for the pesos. I appreciate it. You are the first and only. So, you know, I almost made as much in this 2 hours as some guy would make at McDonald's, but I think I'm still about 10% of what they make at McDonald's. And I'm laughing, but really I'm not, you know. I'm gonna work out a little. Well, first of all, I gotta work out this trip. Proud member of the Loyal Order of Chowderheads. Yeah, remember Fred Flintstone, the Loyal Order of Water Buffaloes or something like that? I am going to put up the finals of the this boat thing. Although, you know, I don't think I'll have the money for a boat for another 6 to 9 months. And I don't really want to get one until then because I need to, like I said, I've said it many times now, I need to talk to some people. And I was talking to Longhorns about it, but we were talking about it and how for a guy like Longhorns and for a guy like me who's got a hip problem, kayaks are not the best way to go. And canoes are not really the best way to go. So it probably have to be a raft or something, some cataract or something like that. But anyway, what would be the best off the beaten path attraction to see in Bangkok in your book? Oh, you're asking me this off the top of my head. I can tell you one that, you know, people know about, but and so I don't know that it's all that off the beaten track. But definitely that temple that I went to where you go up the 7 steps and you're on the side of a mountain. Hit refresh on your laptop or whatever. That might work. A choke D to you, JRD. I appreciate that. Every little bit helps. I mean, that's one of them, but, you know, I mean, how many places really are off the beaten path now in Thailand? And I think this is part of the issue and part of the thing that I've come to find out is that the difficulties, oh, look at this. I don't know what let's see if he's going to bring me one. No, he's not going to have any left by the time he gets to me. Passing out the free coffees. I'm sure I'll get one. Thank you. All right, let's see. What is this? Ani alai na? Oh, this is, I don't know what the hell it is, but anyway, it looks pretty good. Best floating market. I don't know if you guys remember, and I don't remember the name of it, but I would say that the best floating market that I've been to, and it was the best in my opinion because of the journey that I was able to take, is the place where I went and they were closed, and there was a guy there with a boat, and he said, "I'll take you around." The vendors weren't there, but he goes, "I'll take you around. I'll take you on a trip down the canals and everything, and you can see, you know, what life is like." That was the best place. all of these floating markets, they're all. I mean, go to the biggest one, the Damnun Saduak. It's full of tourists. Everywhere you go, there's tourists. It's a tourist destination. But if you go to one of the places, I forget the name of it, and I'll have to try to look it up. It was that one where I went though, and I paid 1,000 baht for the guy to take me around on a boat, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic because there was nobody there. It was just me, and I was looking at what everybody was doing. They have their houses there right on the river, and people were traveling around, and it was great. So sorry I don't have the name, but that was the place. It was all right. I don't know that I would get it. I'm trying to stay off the sweets, especially on a regular basis. It was just Nicholas's birthday the other day, and we had some cake. But special occasions is one thing, but coming to Starbucks and drinking the food drinks every day just doesn't work for me. I do need to bring up it's a minty kind of peppermint kind of mint drink. It's good, but it's sweet and yeah, but I need to pick out some of my favorite places, and one of the things I'm doing is I'm working. It should be done today. I meant to have it done yesterday, but I went out and met up with. I'm going to blame it on Longhorns and Jono. I went out and spent the morning or the afternoon with them, and I didn't finish up the video. It's just because Richard was saying how much he enjoyed the boat taxi and how he missed it. And so I just took some video of the boat taxi, and there's a couple of nice views, and you'll get my gist when you see the whole thing, but wait until the end because the view's pretty nice. That's one, and then the other is some of the favorite places that I've gone, and also this past year. Because I've been to quite a few places this year, but also I think it's January 8th. January 8th is, I think it's 8 or 9 years. 8 or 9 years I've been on YouTube. I think it's 9 years I've been on YouTube. So I got one more year to get it together because supposedly you learn and it takes you 10 years to be able to get to the point where you can do something with yourself in any kind of an artistic endeavor. I really like the floating markets. Last one I went to had a singing competition going on. Yeah. They're good to go to if you want to have a breakfast or you want to have a lunch or something and you want to take a little walk around. Let me tell you something. When Longhorns and I went to what the hell was it? The ancient city a couple of weeks ago. That ancient city has a floating market, and it's fantastic. You can get off at any little restaurant you want. You just eat there, and then you get back in the boat and you go wherever the hell you want to go. It was really nice. I liked that place, but it was a shame that everything was shut down. So 10,000 hours, 10 years, there's a whole, slew of, but the 10,000 hours is important. I don't know that I've done 10,000 hours, and I don't know that I've improved that much, but I think part of it I'll be honest, part of it has to do with laziness, because I'm the only one. I don't have anybody helping me, and I'm not that good at it. I never have been, and I've tried to get better, and there are things I've done better, but also there are things that I just haven't improved on. And the reason I saw the OnePlus phone is because I was looking around at some of the best travel vloggers, and I'm talking about the best in terms of numbers, but also quality of the videos. And I found one guy, and he had done a commercial for the OnePlus phone, using the OnePlus phone, and he had a few little things, like he did use a gimbal, and he used the little wide-angle lenses that you pop onto that you can pop onto the phone. And he did the whole video, and it was fantastic. Now, the guy knows what he's doing. He's a full-on pro video maker, and he's not. I don't believe he was self-taught or anything like that. And between him and his buddy, they make a good team. I don't remember the name of the channel, but it was quite good. I think he had like 1.24 million subscribers or something like that. But I liked his channel because all he was using was a phone and a gimbal. And that means you don't have to lug around a bunch of shit. And if you know what it's like to lug around a bunch of shit to shoot video, I mean, or to shoot photos for that matter, to lug around, a big camera or a couple of big cameras and tripods and stuff like that. It's a hell of a lot of work, and I don't know. I don't want to blame it on age, but age, pain, and the effort required, and then the reward that you get back. I mean, rarely have I been happy with any of my videos. There's a few, but not very many. So anyway, I'm getting away from Thailand and everything else like that. Yeah, Asiatique. You mean Asiatique? Asiatique is cool. What's the other place? Go to the floating city in the floating market in Icon Siam. There's another one. They're everywhere, The good news is that Thailand Pass supposedly is working better now, and it's gotten easier for people to get through it. Well, you can say that. Yes, you're right. Rarely does the gear matter more than the person who's doing the work, whether it be videography or photography. I mean, I've had some little cameras, some little rinky. I bought a camera for $35. That camera works fantastic. It's one of my favorite cameras. It's a Minolta AF. Great lens on it, but I bought it for $35. And it's turned out to be one of my favorite cameras. But you do need, I wouldn't be able to use that camera to shoot if I wanted some kind of a landscape photo, like a 40 by 60 or something like that. You wouldn't be able to use it. The same goes with videography. There's certain things you can do. There are certain limitations. So, just waiting on the QR code. How many days has it been since you applied? Second-hand camera? I have enough cameras aside from I don't have a GoPro right now, which I really would like to get, but it's probably going to have to wait a little while. I am going to have to wait 2 days. Okay, so that's not bad. And it's the weekend, so maybe Monday or Tuesday you'll have it. And you'll be set to go. On a scooter. Average is 7 days. I saw it was like it could be as little as 3 days now. Some people are reporting 3 days, but I don't know. 10 hours. 10 hours is pretty damn good, but I don't know that you'll get it on the weekend. Yeah, it's pretty good. Especially the whipped cream. I'm surprised that, I mean, it's a little bit early, but they only have the manager and one other person here working. Normally, there would be at least 3 people working, but there's only now, everybody's cleared out. And there's, yeah, these 2 guys, there's a guy to the right, and then there's me, and that's it. Which is about the same amount of number of people as was in the coffee shop that we went to yesterday. There was only a handful of people, but that place was the one place that was more comfortable than Starbucks. It was a sofa. It was nothing but sofas. And then or you could sit up at the bar, but the sofas were huge and they were really comfortable. Much more comfortable than here. Anyway, you got anything else here? Let's see. Anything else just come out? Let's see. Oh, Netherlands COVID riots. That's about it. Let's see what else we got here. You got me, man. I think it's just habit. He's drinking a coffee, but he's not currently drinking it. So what some people do is they just pull their mask down a little bit and they just stick the straw in their mouth and start drinking it. You got me, man, because like to me it's not normal. And I got my nose is a huge problem for me. I'm gonna need surgery, which is gonna be a pain in the ass. And so the last thing I want to do is wear a mask. I mean, listen, we were walking around yesterday, me and the boys there. We were walking around, and it's 90 degrees. It's fairly humid, and I'm like, you know what? There's nobody here. Boom, off the mask comes because I want to be able to breathe. I don't want to have to be. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't want something over my face. It's like. The man with the iron mask, you got this iron mask on, and you can't take it off. You're not supposed to take it off, or you can't take it off. And that's how you have to live. No, I don't want to live that way. I've been vaccinated, and if I'm not safe now, yeah, my surgery will be a pain in the nose. Which I'm not looking forward to that, but let's see here. I don't think I'm missing anything here. Oh, what is this? Austria mandatory vaccines and new lockdown? When are they going to learn that lockdowns and prohibition does not work? They just don't work. What is this here? Oh, here, is this Austria or Austria? What the hell is this guy doing? It says Austria. I think he means Australia. Fucking idiot. Oh, no. Okay, it is Austria. Sorry. Sorry for calling you an idiot. Not just Austria. Which countries have... Here's a good article. Which countries have made COVID-19 vaccines mandatory? Well, Austria is one. From February 1st, COVID-19 vaccines are mandatory. Shit. It remains unclear what penalties will be in place for those who flout the mandatory policy. The strict measure comes after COVID-19 cases skyrocketed in Austria, with the country seeing a fourth wave of infections. Days after Austria imposed a lockdown on the unvaccinated, it announced a full national COVID-19 lockdown starting Monday. Thank you very much, Walter. I appreciate that. At the buzzer, choked for you. The restrictions will be enforced for 20 days, with the rules prohibiting Austrians from leaving home except to go to work, shop for essentials, and exercise. Schools will remain open, although children are encouraged to stay home if possible. You know, I don't mean to I do believe in science, and I don't mean to be a prick about this, but this is not, like I said, this is not some kind of virus where you walk around and if you're, 500 feet from somebody who has it, you're gonna flop around on the ground like a fish, and you're gonna start oozing blood from every orifice. That doesn't happen. And I think that history is gonna look back at this, and they're gonna go, okay, in the beginning I see it, but like a year in, 2 years in, what the hell were these people thinking of? They're going to look at us as, this is like a Salem witch trial. That's exactly what it's like. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Source of these news, hang on one second. This is the SBS News of Australia. We have to look reality in the face, Chancellor Alexander Schallenberg said at a news conference on Saturday. Despite months of work on persuasion, we have not succeeded in convincing enough people to get vaccinated. Well, there you go. But you can't keep your job or shop. Yeah, not mandatory. I don't believe anything that comes out of China. I don't care about China in the least, unless it affects, it immediately affects where I am. That's about it. And I'm damn glad, and I will be damn glad, that if I go to Chiang Mai, I can actually go to a place where the Chinese are not walking in front of me as I'm trying to take a photo, and they're walking in front of me and standing right in front of my camera. As I'm pointing the camera, their ass or their back is practically right in my camera lens. I'll be damn glad to go when they're not around. Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, I missed the shot already. Thank you very much, pal. All right, let me go on here. Increasing the vaccination rate durably is the only way of getting out of this vicious circle. Austria is not the first country to enforce COVID-19 jabs. It's really sickening. Stand outside the box and look at worse than what? Dude, I understand what you're trying to say, but Jesus Christ. See, people get so afraid to see that word unless they're talking about the orange man. I find a lot of these people, that the people involved in politics in the United States, they truly are morons. And I don't consider myself to be a genius by any stretch of the imagination. But some of them are just absolute morons. Turkmenistan was the first country to make vaccination compulsory for all eligible adults in July. Only those with medical contraindications are exempt from the mandatory vaccination policy. The Turkmenistan has drawn criticism from the World Health Organization for its refusal to provide data on COVID-19 cases and deaths. Well, maybe that has something to do with China and the fact that they know that the World Health Organization is Chinese. They come from China. Well, that's the other thing. They can't admit they're wrong. Now, listen, I got to say, if the guy World Citizen, I can't find you online. If you email me, I'm very sorry that I got a little carried away and was quick on the trigger. If you email me, I will, if you care and you will accept my apology, I will reinstate you to where you can make comments in the chat. All right, I apologize for that. Every once in a while, you know, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Yes, I was wrong. The Central Asian country joins North Korea and the Pacific islands of Nauru and Tuvalu, who have yet to report a single case of COVID-19 to the World Health Organization. They're like, fuck you, we're not telling you shit. We don't have to, kiss my ass, we don't want to tell you anything, mind your own business. That's their mentality. Indonesia introduced a mandatory policy for COVID-19 vaccines in February. Residents face harsh penalties. I didn't know this about Indonesia if they are unvaccinated, including fines and the denial of social assistance and government services. Now that's a way to get people off their ass. If there are social, and if there's like social assistance, government assistance, you know, like welfare, you want to get the welfare people to get vaccinated, tell them that you're going to withhold their welfare checks. And watch how fast they run to go to some drugstore to get the needle stuck in their arm. Indonesia is fighting one of Asia's biggest coronavirus outbreaks and aims to vaccinate 181.5 million of its 270 million population within 15 months. Sanctions are our last effort to encourage people's participation. Health Minister official Siti Nadia Tarmizi said. Micronesia mandated vaccines for those over the age of 18. Listen to this, the small island nation required anyone receiving federal funds to prove their vaccination status to receive their checks. That policy captured a large segment of the population, including everyone from business owners getting pandemic stimulus payments to government workers and pensioners getting Social Security benefits. Hey, how are you going to get somebody to get vaccinated? You got to hit them where it hurts, which is in the pocket. If you're giving them free money, if you want them to get vaccinated, that's how they'll get vaccinated, you know? Again, Andrew, suppose new law people can be incarcerated without any legal representative up to 2 years. For what? For just not becoming vaccinated? See, that guy ought to be run out of office, man. I do believe that you should have a choice. However, I also believe that really, if they were able to prove that this was doing all that much, that you really needed it. I don't know, has Joe Rogan been vaccinated? I don't know. I don't think he has been. He had it. Now, what's he going to do if he has to go somewhere and they say, well, you can't get into the state? Oh, well, I guess I can't perform. Then it's going to be a lawsuit against, you know, and it's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. He's got to be able to earn a living. Can you mandate that somebody has to get a vaccine? You know. Well, you know, I was thinking about something. I called up the place where I got vaccinated, and I said, listen, I was vaccinated at the end of July. I'm wondering, what is the policy? What is the procedure to get a booster? Do you have any boosters? No, we do not. I recommend you contact Bumrungrad Hospital. I contact them. They say, we're sorry. All the boosters and all the, I think it was Moderna and Pfizer, they have been reserved and paid for. We are not giving out any boosters to anyone else. I said, okay. And then I saw that in the United States, they recognized the Sinovac. I'm like, okay, they recognize the Sinovac. They'll allow me back into the country. So what the hell do I need another booster for? I think I already caught the COVID. A month or so again, when I was complaining about I had absolutely no energy. I had headaches like every day for about a week, and body aches. And I maybe the vaccine is what, you know, helped. Maybe it was my stubborn resistance. I don't know what it was, but I know that I was sick, and that was the first time I've been sick really since I had gallbladder surgery. So, you know, like, what's the point of me getting? Do I really need it? Do I really need it right now? Probably not. Now, if they come out with some, you know, some study and it seems legitimate, I'll consider it. I mean, I am open-minded, but really, no, I'm not getting it. And the only person left in my family that hasn't had their second vaccination is Alex, and he should have it shortly. And he's got to take a trip in a couple of months in northern Thailand, and I don't think they're going to let him travel if he's not fully vaccinated. So he's going to have to get it probably in the next month. Well, that's another thing. I mean, you know, like four shots. What am I going to do? Am I going to get one every year, or is it going to be like the flu, where, hey, listen, we have the vaccine available if you want it? Now, I never have gotten flu. I have not, at least since I was a kid. My parents may have had me vaccinated against the flu when I was younger. I don't remember. But I had never been vaccinated for the flu. And when I saw that Waitani Hospital was, and my insurance company were giving the flu shots out and it wouldn't cost you anything, I said, well, I know the kids should probably get it. Why don't I go over there and we'll all get it? And so we did, you know, but, you know, that's the thing. I don't want to get a booster shot every 6 months if I don't have to. If they can't prove that it's saving my life, then why would I do it? Because I don't believe they have proved it. You know, there needs to be some proof. And I think at this point it's like, all right, enough of this bullshit. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. You know, it's gotten beyond ridiculous. Well, I don't know if you saw, but there was something that said, what was it? It will be another 55 years, I think. This just came out, and it's on my phone. I don't have it. Well, let me see if I can get it here, because I want to make sure that I can pull this up. Yes, Steve. Yeah, that's the thing too. You know, half of Thai kids can't even swim. What makes you think they're going to go? Okay, everybody's going to get vaccinated. All right, let me see if I can find this. If I can find it. All right. Shit, I don't think it was there. I think it was in my Instagram. Let's see if I can bring that up though. I did see what happened with this Kyle, what's his last name, Rittenhouse, where the guy's defending himself, and because he's using an AR-15, everybody's they're going bonkers about it. And he gets found not guilty, and all the celebrities come out, oh, it's a travesty. No, what's a travesty is that, okay, granted, maybe he shouldn't have been in that location, but the travesty is that you got these people from Black Lives Matter trying to attack people, and that's okay. No, it's not okay. I would have shot the bastards too. I mean, you know, it's simple as that. I would have shot them. All right, let me see what the, let me see. I got to see where that was. I don't even remember what the hell I'm looking for now. Oh, the FDA wants to hide the Pfizer vaccine data for 55 years. Let me see if I can get this to come up here, because there's more to it than that. They don't want to tell you the data for another 55 years. Now, what kind of bullshit is that? I mean, look at it logically. Why do you have to hide that data? Oh, because somebody else is going to steal our formula? It's just ridiculous. Yeah. I'm not going to go on and on about it. I think booster shots will be incorporated into the flu vac eventually, maybe. Eventually, fully vaccinated, 3 shots. If you know the outcome, you can see the journey, problem, reaction, solution. Well, we all have a crystal ball. We do have a crystal ball. We know, for example, if we do certain things, the chance of something happening is going to be fairly certain. He was not guilty, but still people are going crazy because he was not guilty. And the system, the very system that we've been using for many, many years, apparently is not good enough now. What is this here? Balkanization. Yeah, U.S. is over. All right, I can understand that, and I can relate, and I agree. Yeah, 55 years. Why is it 50? You know why? Because most people will be dead by then. Dallo, how you doing? Third most owned stock is by Congress is Pfizer. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that. 55 years. We'll check to see if there was vote tampering. We'll check to see, but you're going to have to wait for 55 years. That's how it's going to be. Everyone will be expected to get 11 shots each before using up 280 million shots. They keep ordering this shit, and it's like, how many shots do I need? What's next? Every day I'm going to have to give myself an injection? No, I believe, isn't Congress exempt from any vaccination mandates? I believe they're exempt. They counted the mail-in vote. Oh, man. That's funny. Wake up, chowderheads. Which, by the way, I do have a shirt that says, Wake Up, Chowderhead. So you can get that shirt. Go down in the description there. You can get that shirt or many others. I don't know how many I have now, but probably 10, a dozen, something like that. Children getting vaccinated today will be old enough to have other aging conditions, and it will be tough to prove they didn't come from a rush to production injection. Maybe. Well, listen, alarm bells are ringing in my head like every freaking day. I don't need the government. My head's always ringing. I love it. All right, Dowlow, way to go, man. I love it. Thank you. Mine is now like, I think I'm using it like, whenever I spill something on the floor, I mop it up with my shirt, with that shirt. That's what's happened to it. It got a little bit old. Wake up and stop giving that bar girl 80,000 baht a month, and stop trusting your government and media while you're at it, Chowderhead. Yeah, 80,000 a month. Jesus Christ. Flags? Actually, flatulence. That's what I view it as. Philippines is finally debating and ready to allow foreign tourists. I don't know, man. You know, I don't even know what to say about the Philippines and the way they're handling it, and many other things. You know, you can always find something. You can always find fault with something. It's very easy to do. The name is not settled, and I don't know if it's not going to be a kayak. I can tell you that. I have looked at several kayaks, and I just can't see my legs staying in there for hours and hours at a time. If anything, a canoe maybe, simply because of the speed that you can get with them, but other than that, it may be one of those. I like those True Kit. They're called True Kit, I think. Those rafts, but for some reason the price went up. Like in the last couple of weeks, the price went up like 10%. That was like, you got to be kidding me. But there are other vessels, but the name, I'm going to put the finals up today. It would be, let's see here, I'll give you a link. I like these, to be honest, and one of them is a kayak, but it's a big kayak, so that might be possible. But this is the one I really like. If I can find it here, let me see. There you go. Yeah. At least I'm not wiping my ass with it. And here's another one that I like. Anyway, those are the two that I really like. Doesn't mean I'm going to get them, because they are quite expensive. And before I do anything, I got to get a couple trips under my belt just to see physically how I feel, because I don't always physically feel very good. But the first step is coming. Well, a dinghy is very hard to row, or difficult to row. But they have the more sleek ones, and those are, I'm trying to find the fastest raft that there is that is comfortable and very stable. And I mean stable as in you can stand up on it. Yeah, well, it better be snazzy for the price they're talking about. And, you know, I don't have the money to buy it right now, and I don't have the desire to buy it right now. The desire I have is to get my ass out on the water, out in the forest. And actually, I was telling my wife, I go, you know, I don't know why I came up with the whole river thing. I like beaches better than mountains. I'm like, you know, but I don't want to do anything on the ocean with these kind of things. I don't know about that, man. That's tough, you know. Yeah, those are very expensive. They have some that are about $1,200 there, which is still expensive. That are quite good. But again, the first thing to do is just to get my ass on a raft and to talk to the people. The main thing is, yeah, I want to get on the raft. I want to get some experience in. I want to, you know, they have lessons and stuff like that. I want to take a couple trips, and we're talking about, it'd be about 10 runs down the river. Yeah, no shit. That's one thing, but you know, I've already started talking to some people who do know the rivers, and that's something that's very important. Although I still haven't got a straight answer on to why no one's gone, or has anyone gone, from the mouth of the Ping River, which is way up in the hills of Chiang Mai province. I don't know. And the thing is, if it would be secondhand, it would probably, well, I guess it could be in the United States as well, but you know, it'd be better to be in Thailand. The only way that I want to really get something from outside of the country is if it's reasonably priced. It's like there's gonna be a new model coming out, and it's reasonably priced, and so then the duties will still make it a hopefully a reasonably priced raft. Either that or have Longhorns bring it with them, or just get it from inside of Thailand, which is, there's every reason I could probably do that. But again, I need to be around people who are in that. You know, you don't become a pro boxer talking about boxing. You get your ass in the gym and you're there every day, and you're there as often as you can be, and that's how you learn. So it's the same thing with this, you know. A couple of bean bags or lilos. I don't know what a lilo is. And I'm not getting a sea canoe. They're not comfortable. You're talking about doing something for hours. You're talking about, you know, 6 to 8 hours, maybe 5 hours sometimes. You're talking about being on the water for quite some time. You know, that's the thing. I was talking to I know all about them, Daniel. How does one become a pro chowderhead? I don't know. I guess you start by paying 80,000 baht to some chick in Pattaya who doesn't listen to you and won't bang you. That's probably one way. There are other ways, though. I've been in contact with there's a couple places in Chiang Mai. There's a couple places in like Phuket, which is why I look. And actually, Phuket is more expensive than Chiang Mai. And there's Chantaburi. Yes, I have done river tubing. In fact, I did it in, what the hell was it? Khao Sok? Khao Sok. I did canoeing in Khao Sok. I've done it in the United States in the past when I was younger. Yeah, okay. Good luck with that pebbles dashing. Go ahead, you can do that. I'll let you do that. Now, the other thing that would be kind of cool, I think this would be really cool. I just think it's, how can I say this? On the realm of impossible, just because you don't know, you know, if somebody doesn't know the river, I think it's a hell of a long shot. And also because of the size, but it wouldn't, I think it would be fun to have somebody build a bamboo raft for you, and you got a little place where you can crap out of, and you got a little hut that you can like sleep in, sit in, and go down the river. I think that would be pretty cool. They do have bamboo rafts like in Kanchanaburi and I think Pai. So it's not impossible, but like you would have to get somebody to, I couldn't make one, at least. I probably could, but I'd have to go, it would be a huge pain in the ass for me, because I'd have to get the bamboo from down in the south on my wife's land. And then you'd have to transport it, or I'd have to make it down there, and then you got to transport it. It's just, like I said, it's damn near impossible. But if you get somebody to make it where you're going to put in, it might be possible. But you really want to go down a river on a bamboo raft. You know, it's one thing to go like 5 kilometers on a bamboo raft. It's another to go 1,000 kilometers or 500 kilometers. It's a completely different story. You know? Yeah, you got to have a beer cooler. You got to have dry bags and stuff like that. You know. And then let's not forget that you need to be able to propel the vehicle through the water, the vessel through the water. That's not as easy as you might think. You know, I mean, you may not give it all that much consideration, but it isn't easy. So, suffice to say that back in the old days, like when people went from east to west and they were conquering the old west, and they were doing things like going up and down rivers, these people were badasses. You know, I'm not saying I'm, you know, a badass, and I'm not saying I'm incapable. I'm just saying these people truly were badasses. A lot of them didn't have maps or didn't know what the hell was before them. They just made a little canoe. You ever watch the movie How the West Was Won? With there's all kinds of stars in it. But I think Jimmy Stewart was in it. Spencer Tracy was in it. Jimmy Stewart was the guy in the canoe. And that was a great movie, but it was a movie. But it still gives you an idea of just how difficult shit could be. And back then, you know, you had to worry about being killed by other people. So transportation would be a killer. Yes, it would have to be. It would probably be a throwaway, or it would be something that, by the time you figure in the transportation, and you figure in when you're done, what you're going to do with it, and how you're going to store it, how you're going to put it away. It would be just as much as you could get you can get a raft for, a decent raft for about $700, $800. Your wife approves of your raft journey? Yes, she does. A couple of weeks in, she'll be like, when are you coming home? I need your help here. And the thing is I'm not opposed to her coming along in part of the trip, and the same with my kids. Bring one of my kids, have them meet me at a certain place. Have her come meet me at a certain place, and we all go down the river together, just to do it. I'm not opposed to that. Rambo at a knife 2 feet mud walk, and build your own bamboo raft when need be. Yeah. Easier said than done. Rambo is a movie. Jeremiah Johnson was a great movie, and he showed of course it was a movie. I'm not Jeremiah Johnson. I'm telling you, large sea canoe with something comfortable to sit on, you'll piss it. Yeah, I don't know what the internet connection will be like. I'm sure there will be some dead areas, but all in all, the internet has been fantastic. And so, look, I was streaming up on the top of that mountain. What that was, a poo? I forget the name of it. But I was streaming from there, and I was up 1,000 feet up in the air, and I was out in the middle of nowhere, and still the stream worked, Yellowstone, awesome show. Awesome show. I'm waiting for, I think the next episode comes out today or maybe tomorrow in the United States. So maybe tomorrow here. But that's a great show. I like that show. It's a show though. But it's great. I like it. Jeremiah Johnson went his way into the mountains better on forgetting all the troubles that he knew. Well, there you go. Now you get my drift a little bit. Now you're thinking like me, Mr. Mitch. The idea to go out there is to forget everything. I don't want to think about this shit here. I don't want to... Listen, you think I like walking outside? And, there's people drilling up the streets and, oh, the water's off today and the cables are hanging and the lady's cutting our tree down without asking us and all these... I don't want to see this shit. Leave me the hell alone. If I want your help, I'll ask for it. That's kind of how, not to be a bad neighbor, but that's how I think. So I thought Burt Reynolds and Ned Beatty went on a canoe trip. Yeah, they did in Deliverance. Thais were able to do this in the past, so yeah, okay. And the young walking months still, I guess. Okay, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? You're just telling me something. Maybe part of it is, do I really want to build a freaking raft here? I'd have to talk to my wife. That's a lot of work. It's much easier just to pay and get yourself a raft. And a bamboo raft is not going to be able to handle some things, and it's not going to be all that fast. So, it's a bit more work than you might think. I've done a few kilometers on bamboo rafting Kanchanaburi. Sure happy those guys were rowing. Okay, so there you go. They were rowing, not you. That was the whole allure of it. You get to relax and enjoy it. Don't forget to wear your mask on the raft. I can guarantee you I won't be. They're not going to get me to. If I have to wear a mask on the raft, I won't go. You know, like with any of these companies. I've done that as well. Yeah, I mean, you know, it is possible to go, you know, up or down that river. I just have some questions about, you know, how far they'll let you go. Is there a limit? Because is there some kind of, like in Myanmar, I went in this area, and this was truly in the middle of nowhere. I think it was in Ye, Myanmar, Y-E. In fact, it was. And we had these guys running a longtail boat, and they took us all up and down this river, and you guys might remember it, and I was streaming from the river, and there's still some video up. And then I went up onto this temple that basically you went to the temple, and then you walked out a little ways, and then they had this huge long walkway that basically put you right over the river. So it was just a walkway like this long, and the temple was way back here, and you walk out, and there's nothing but, you know, some beams to hold up the walkway. And even then, I was able to stream a little. I did have some problems once I got to the end, but you know, that place was out in the middle of nowhere. But then when we got back and we started going out, and I said, can't we turn left? Let's go left, not because like up ahead it dead ended, and the guy goes, no, we can't go there because the military has operations there, and they don't want you getting anywhere near there. And I was like, okay, well, I said, what would happen if you went there? You'll get shot. So that was the end of that, you know. I'm considering doing a skydive, maybe as a one-off adventure. I have never skydived, and I wouldn't do it now, mainly because of my hip. I have done bungee jumping a couple of times, and you know, it was a little bit scary, especially the first time, because I went to the edge and I looked down and I went, what am I doing? And then I thought, no fear, no fear. I turned around and the guy goes, you know, like 3, 2, 1, and I just thought, just go for it. Boom, I just jumped. And when you hit the bottom, you know, and then you go back up, it feels like your stomach stays down below and you're going up. I'm not opposed to getting wet. Those paddle kayaks with the optional electric motor looks pretty cool. Thought about getting one in the States. You know what? What about those, what are those things called? The paddle boats? Where you know, it's like it has like a bicycle type thing where you paddle with your feet. And they have them out on lakes and stuff. Right in Lumpini they have them. There's a way to go. But that's not going to happen. I think it's best to rent the raft, as you have little need to store and transport it after your journey. Well, I'm not buying one now. And it depends on how the next 4 or 5 trips go. You know, whether or not I do buy one. I'm not going to piss away money for nothing. And that's the whole reason of, there are many rafting companies and stuff, but I want to ask these people, what's the deal with this? And then, you know, the other thing is, what can you do with the certain types of, you know, what can you do with it? Are you going to be okay to go down a certain river with a cataract or something like that? A cataract, or do you need to have a kayak? Or, you know, what is the best vessel for particular stretches of the river? There's all kinds of shit to think about, you know? Hey, I mean, we could talk about this forever. Andy, take it easy. We can talk about it forever. The truth is that, you know, the only way to go is, it's just like, you want to become a fighter, there is no, oh, I'm just going to throw a 1-2 on the heavy bag and then I'll get in and start fighting. No, the only way to learn is to get in the freaking ring and start sparring. And then, you know, You learn. Skydiving with a mask. Skydiving approved mask. Wear this mask. It's approved, COVID-19 mask approved for skydiving. Might be cheaper to do a motorbike GoPro and do a motorbike tour. I don't want to do a motorbike tour. Why do I want to do that? I don't want to do that. I've already said if I go down on a motorbike, you know, there goes my hip. You know, it's not the brightest move. First of all, the roads are very dangerous here. I mean, I rode motorcycles all my life back in the United States. That's really, aside from a couple of cars I had, most of the time, all I rode was motorcycles. But that was then, and this is now. And I got a hip issue. You know, I got a hip replacement. And I don't want to shatter that. God, I can only imagine what that would be like to replace it. That would be a nightmare. I mean, I feel bad even taking a motorbike from my house to the mall sometimes. So, not the smartest thing to do. Anyway, there's all kinds of things to do. There's trekking. There's, you know, you can go kayaking out on the ocean in the caves. You can, I mean, you know, you don't have to do one thing. You can go river rafting with a bunch of people and you can get a GoPro. You know, do it that way. There's all kinds of things you can do. Anyway, let's see here. Do you need to wear a mask to do... I'll let you figure that one out. I already know the answer. If you got to ask the question, I'll tell you what I like the most, Dowlow. My top 3 things for my YouTube channel and for myself, because they're things that I enjoy or I find enjoyable, or even the thought of them as being enjoyable, and that is going down the river. And it doesn't necessarily have to be me propelling myself in a canoe or whatever. It's just going down the river in some kind of a vessel that's low to the water. It could be a long-tail boat, but I find that interesting. I find trains to be interesting. If you were to go from one train, you're on a train, you go to one destination to another. You know, you stop in certain cities, but you got a goal of going from here to there. Like, you know, I've done from Bangkok to Singapore on a train. That was fun. And the other is just hiking, trekking. You know, going out and walking in the jungle, walking in the forest. There are inflatable dinghies that can be used with an outboard on Lazada for 10,000 baht. Well, I will tell you this. If they're on Lazada or Shopee, the vast majority of them are straight up Chinese pieces of shit. And while an inflatable dinghy, usually the inflatable dinghies that are $250, maybe even up to about $400, $500. Generally, they're not all that well made. And you know how I know? Because I've done my research. I've done my research, and you know, everything is, the devil is in the details. Are the seams welded? How many overlaps are there? There's all kinds of things that you need to think about. What's the material? How easily can it be punctured? Most of the really high quality ones will not be punctured. They will last you, they may last you a lifetime, or they'll last you like 10 to 20 years. So, believe me, I've seen the 10,000 baht, I've seen the 4,800 baht rafts. And while I would love to just get one and go, okay, let's go. Actually, what I have thought about doing is get something like a 10 or 15,000 baht raft, and then get a second one, so that if I'm going down the river, something happens and that thing gets destroyed, I got a backup. You know, that's another option. I reshattered my hip after it was already replaced one. The titanium held up, but I got a new break in a location that the doctors had never seen broken before. Yeah. And I know that you went through a hell of a lot of rehab, and it wasn't fun for you. So I would prefer not to go through that, just because I decided, as much as I like motorcycles, I saw, I think it was a Triumph the other day. Me and Jono and Longmore saw this. I think it was a Triumph. I'm trying to think. Triumph or Norton, but I think it was a Triumph. And I was like, oh man, this thing is, I'd love to jump on this thing and just cruise down the highway, and, you know, but you don't think, what happens if some guy who's, you know, he hasn't slept in 4 days, and he's high on the yaba, and, you know, he's drifting off to sleep, and he just happens to run right into you. That's the end of you, you know. And then, let's just say that I was able to evade him, and I went down, you know, and I went down hard. Again, that's the end of my hip. My life is forever changed. Yeah, okay. Tikradot. Yeah, now you're stretching it, man. You're really stretching it, buddy. I hope those condoms aren't used. They were fished out of the garbage or something. Well, Thailand has natural rubber trees. We have rubber trees on our land, or on my wife's. It was my wife's mother's land. Now it's her land, but we have rubber trees. Doesn't mean we're gonna harvest the rubber, take it in, and then, oh, well, guess what? I'm gonna make a boat out of this. Not as easy as you might think. In fact, somehow I don't think it's gonna happen. I'll give the boat manufacturer the rubber and go, here you go, here's all your rubber, now give me a discount. Yeah, okay. That's gonna work. And you guys already know about my feelings for China, so. Jesus Christ, I've been streaming 3 hours? Are you kidding me? Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. So much for all the topics we talked about today. What is this? Oh, I gotta read this real quick, sorry. What the hell's a Zorb ball? Just get an open, oh. Damn it. The Honorable Greg Hunt, MP, Minister for Health and Aged Care. COVID-19 emergency measures extended for a further 3 months. This is in Australia. September to October, November, December. So it was September 2nd when this was published. The Human Biosecurity Emergency Period under the Biosecurity Act of 2015 will be extended for a further 3 months. The emergency period, which has been in place since March 18, 2020, to protect Australians during the COVID-19 pandemic, will continue until December 17th,
2021. I just stumbled onto that. A possible good backup system would be a couple of semi-truck inner tubes. No, that's not gonna work. You know, there was a time when I had thought about. You guys know Havasu and whatever that river is. You know, it's connected to the lake there. Trying to think. I wanted to get a jet ski and go like up the river or whatever, down the river. No, I don't hunt these videos out, Mr. Mitch, for Zorb balls. I'd forgotten about them, to be quite honest. And I would not go down the river on an inner tube. I mean, listen, I went down on the river in Cow Soap that ran right behind our hotel room. You know, in fact, our hotel room was like over the river almost. And I don't know how far we went down, but afterwards there were parts of my ass that were sore from banging down on some of the rocks. They got nearly 10 feet in diameter when inflated. Got me, man. Let me see. All right, it looks like right now Thailand has been, the percentage of the population vaccinated is 66.40. Is this one? At the current rate, Thailand could have 70% of people vaccinated with 2 doses in 17 days or by December 7th, 2021. So that's good. And they have been increasing the number of people that are vaccinated over the last 30 days. It's been an upward trend. So there you go. People in Thailand want to get vaccinated. They're like, can we just get vaccinated and get through this shit? Well, my friend went from John O'Groats to Land's End walking. Him and his wife walked the entire distance. But a mobility scooter, that's pretty funny. Yeah, in Riley, the dock I left from was made from that plastic, you know, that kind of plastic. Well, you know what? I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about the vaccine. Yesterday, I actually contemplated cutting the beard off, and then I thought, no. I thought I gotta wait a day, and then if I still feel like cutting it off, cut it off. But now I don't feel like cutting it off. It's just really hot. Your ass got sore from banging down on the rocks. You get what I mean. My rear end was hitting the rocks on the riverbed, and they caused my buttocks to get rather bruised. Have you heard if the process being streamlined for the Thailand pass, or it's still difficult? It's supposed to be easier now. Supposedly they have made it easier and easier, but who knows? Most people, there's a couple people that are in this chat that have already got through the Thailand pass, or they're waiting for their QR code, and they didn't have any real problems. That's terrible for the 10% left. They have resisted. They will be persecuted and ridiculed. Anyway, all right. There you go. Listen, guys, do me a favor, please. Do me a solid. I gotta sound young. Do me a solid. Leave a thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And I have been working on the list of things that I will need, and I'm kind of morphing this from get a boat, go down the entire length of the river, to doing a tour of the various whitewater rafting rivers. Longhorns? I don't know where Longhorns is. More like doing a tour in the next year, like 5 places to go in the next year, and I'm gonna put them up. I'm trying to get away from the PayPal. Everything is cool with PayPal for right now until the middle of February. There's no problems, but if you notice, I don't have PayPal down in the description anymore, and the reason is because I want to get away from it, because they're not going to allow it unless you have a business, registered business. And as I said, I don't know that it's really worth it for my wife and I to get a registered business here and then, get payments that way, because first of all, there's plenty of other methods. So I put up, and I talked about this the other day, I put up the WISE link. It's just my email address. And if you have my phone number for whatever reason, you can use that, my Thai phone number. That's one way to contribute. And other ways are like the CASHAPP, the Buy Me a Coffee, which that's probably where I'm going to put the little list of everything, and on my website. It'll be right up there. And then Patreon and this, all these other ways. Or you can just buy something through Amazon. Next time you need to buy your old lady a bunch of toilet paper or something, and you can't find it in your local grocery, and you want to buy some toilet paper, you want to buy it online, you're just going to import it because you want the good stuff. Go through the Amazon shop, and just the fact that you go there means I'll get a few cents, and it doesn't cost you a dime. And guess what? That means more money, more moolah in my pocket to help me to do these kind of things. So, there you go. And if that's too much for you to handle, I get it, but, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? I'm not going to say anything else. Go on, give him a thumbin'. Yes, give me a thumbin'. I don't know. I don't like the sound of that. The only issue I found with Thailand Pass was that JPEG uploads, not PDF files. So convert your file. Well, that's pretty easy to do. You can do it online, and you just might have to look around, but there are ways to do that. It's not all that difficult. International standard vaccine passport is already under the works, and more countries coming in line. Example, the various EU countries. Well, the EU is a prime candidate for that. Various EU countries' vaccine passport. Thank you very much, T. Kradat there. Appreciate that. And what are you going to do? Some people are going to go, screw it, I don't want to. If I didn't want to ever leave Thailand again, my life would probably be a little bit easier. But I do. I want that freedom. I want to know if I want to go somewhere, I can go. If I don't want to ever enter another country, my life would probably be easier. Now, some people don't have any problem of never traveling, but I do at least want to be able to go to the United States a couple of times in the next decade. And, I still have family there, and I do have friends there, but I'll tell you one thing about friends, and I was talking to Jono about this. You find out who your friends really are when you leave. Because there are people that, you think they're good friends, and they may be, but they'll never come to see you. It's always you're coming back home so you can go see them. But they won't go to Thailand. Oh, wow, I'm going to take a trip. Very few people have done that with me. And you could blame that on it being me, but I don't think that's what it was, because the friends that I have, there's a few friends that I have back in the States I've had for 25, 30. One guy, almost 40 years now. So, these are the guys who I talk to all the time. Once you've been living here for a while, a lot of the friends, they just, they get wives, they get girlfriends, they move on and do other things. You lose track of them, they die. So you got to expect that when you move over here. Another province of BC with highways being completely wiped out last weekend, so no point in ordering Amazon as supply lines fucked. Sorry to hear that, both for you and for me. Most people don't ever leave the States. Yeah. I don't know. Well, let me see. Let's see. Percentage of Americans who have passports. 42%. 42%. That was 2017. 42%. Now it says, oh my God, as of April 21st of last year, or is it this year? Let me see. It's not that much anymore. It's lower now. I'm trying to bring up the page, but again, it's loading a little bit. Okay. As of, April 21st of this year, only a third of American adults say they have a valid and unexpired U.S. passport. 37%, about the same percentage as those who have never had a passport at all. 38%. Another 1 in 5 Americans have an expired or invalid passport. That's 20%. A recent economist/YouGov poll doesn't show any party gap on this question, as Democrats have 41% and Republicans have 38%, and they're equally likely to hold and not hold valid passports. But there are economic and regional divides on who is able to travel outside of the United States. 2/3 of Americans with a household income of over $100,000 or more have a valid passport. Interesting. 54% of people who have a household income under $50,000 a year, 54% have never had a passport. Back when my dad could travel, he came to visit me in Texas, Alabama, and Kentucky. I was stationed in the Army, and he visited me in Thailand twice. Wow. Not a huge shock that your friends don't visit you in Thailand. You trying to tell me something? Listen, I told one guy, I said, he was a good friend of mine. I used to, how good of a friend? He wasn't my closest friend, but he was a friend. He wasn't an associate. And I called him up several times and said, listen, all you have to do, buy the ticket, bring a little spending money. I'll make sure that, you can eat on the cheap, or we can eat at my place, and you can stay at my place. All you have to do is have a little bit of spending money and buy your airline ticket. And he's in LA, and the guy's never come, never. In fact, I don't think he's ever been out of California. When it comes to travel and being compliant, it only takes 20-25 days to get jabbed up to be compliant, so you can go without jabs for years. Most international travel is planned months in advance, yes, and if U.S. A thinks province of BC highway issues don't affect them. Okay, I don't know about that. He's awesome. JRD, do you watch Dollar Vigilante at all? Oh, now you bring that up. I'm gonna have to see what's Dollar Vigilante. I did a few years ago, Pebble, not anymore. Going to eat at one of his favorite places today in Pattaya. Friend doing a short video just for him. Wow, that's cool. Das Berliner across the quarter from the Sportsman Pub. It felt good to go to, what was it, the Hideaway. It felt good to go there when I went there with Longhorns. I think we went there twice. I'm not sure. It felt good to go there because Kev and I had breakfast there alone a couple years ago now. Yeah, it was just good to go there, you know? It was good to go there, and I felt like his presence was there, you know? He was a complete asshole while growing up. I will share that with you in person. It's amazing how a child's perception of their parent or parents changes as they grow older. For me, I was the asshole when I was a kid. Now I'm a mama's boy. And, you know, I completely respect my parents and appreciate the fact that they were good to me and that I come from a good family, you know. I'm far more dysfunctional than they ever will be, than they'll ever be. And I'm not all that dysfunctional when it comes to my family. You know, even here in Thailand. Yeah, I mean, I like the place. You know, they do have a good breakfast there, and it was nice because of him, you know, to kind of pay respects. But, you know, that's the thing. A lot of good places to eat in Pattaya, you know. A lot of good places to eat here too, but you got to source them out, you know. You got to hunt them down a little bit. You got to look around a little bit. And I be quite honest, I leave that to Jono and Longhorns now, because they tend to go out for breakfast and lunch more than me, because most of the time I'm at home, I'm chilling, you know, or I'm out walking around, or I'm at Starbucks, or, you know, whatever. So, you know, same thing with hotels. They find, well, especially Longhorns, not Jono anymore, but, you know, that's why it's good to have friends that are tourists as well, or, you know, semi-tourists, whatever you want to call them. And, you know, Soy Dog Cowboy was a good source of information in Pattaya. Pattaya Bob, who lives there, is a fantastic source of information. You know, as is Carlos, and there's quite a few people that I know there. They're really good. John and Jamie, they're good. You know, got a lot of good information. Yeah, I like the Hungry Hippo. You know, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, what's the Dollar Vigilante? Oh, he's got a channel here. It's a TV program. I see. What is it? An Australian TV program or something? Canadian Dominican entrepreneur and I can't even read anymore. Anarcho-capitalist activist. Interesting. I'll have to take a look at this later on. I always like to know about that kind of stuff. Canadian guy living in Mexico. I got you. 4 in 10 adults in the northeastern, 40%, and 45% of those living in western states hold valid passports, while 1/3 of those in the South and Midwest have one. 33% in the South and 35% in the Midwest. Possession of a valid passport increases dramatically with income. 1 in 5 Americans with a household income under $50,000 have a valid passport, compared to 44% of those with an annual household income between $50,000 and $100,000. 2/3 of Americans, 64% with household income over $100,000, have a valid passport. That is also the case with higher education. The majority of those with only a high school education or less have never had a passport. Well, 58% of those with at least a college degree have one that is currently valid. That's interesting. Interesting to me. Out of here, back to packing, another good stream. All right, thank you very much, my two bot. I'd be more than willing to meet up with you and have a coffee or something, my two bot, no problem. Mr. Mitch, those foodie pictures the guys were posting, killing me. You know, there are times when I'm sitting there and I have a good meal in front of me, and I'm eating the meal, and then I go, oh shit, I forgot to take a picture. Everybody here takes pictures. They all take pictures of their food. Yeah, well, I've been needing some glasses for quite some time now, and I'm just too lazy to go and get them checked. And you know, I know like I can just do it and go. Once I put on the reading glasses, I'm quite a bit better. But I've noticed that looking at things from a long distance, my vision has gotten much more poor. Richard, how's it going there? Okay, Joe. Okie dokie, Joe. Richard, how you doing? I talked to your pal Chucky a few days ago. What the hell was he telling me about? It wasn't that he was in Florida. He's in Florida. I can't remember what it was. He's always, let me see here. I can remember because I got my line open on my computer. That is if it'll come up. Where is he? Oh, there we go. Okay, I talked to him on Tuesday. Oh, he showed me a picture of the Hillary 2 bar in the Nana area and said, Hillary Clinton owns a stripper prostitution club in Bangkok. What he didn't know was that that's part of the Hillary group. They've been around forever and has nothing to do with Hillary. Yeah, he's been very busy apparently in Florida. I need to give him a call though. Maybe I will today or in the next couple of days. I don't know. I got a lot of people that I talk to, and thank you very much, Richard. I appreciate that. Choke D to you. I will say hello to Chucky for you. But yeah, I need to call him up. But I got a lot of people that, you know, I'm just getting messages and stuff like that, and sometimes I feel like overwhelmed. So I just try to take, you know, most people that know me or that I talk to on a regular basis know eventually I'll probably get a hold of them, or they'll get a hold of me. So Patia Bob is also doing well. He says he's quite busy right now, but so anyway, yeah. Richard, how are you doing? Hillary too. Yeah, I mean, I've had some good times down at Nana. That was my place back in the day. Hi, Mister. Hey, Mister Mitch. I had some great times back then, and I wasn't always drunk. Although sometimes I was. But those you know, it's been a long time now. I'm you know, I mean, I admit it, you know, I'm a fossil. I'm an old dinosaur now. Things are not quite the same, and you know, there's nothing you can do about it. You're gonna get older, and things are gonna change, and you're gonna change, and your priorities will change, and you know, I actually feel really good that my wife she wants to go to Chiang Mai, and we are looking into going to a place. I don't know the name of the place. She found a place, absolutely gorgeous place, where you can stay, and it's like it's up atop a big, huge hill, and you're out in the middle of nowhere, and there's like these doors that open up right in front of all the beds, and when you open them up, all you see is the mountains, and in the early morning you see the mist, the fog. It's supposed to be fantastic. So I don't know how long she is going to be able to stay. I can stay as long as I want, pretty much. But it's a beautiful place, and the thing with that is that I think we're staying there, it's far away from where I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think it might be quite a distance to go from there to where the camp is for the rafting. So maybe we spend 1 or 2 nights in the... Thanks a lot, Mr. Mitch, I appreciate that. On the road again. Go hit the Hideaway and say hello to Kevin for me. Really, you know. Pay your respects there, have a good meal there, and remember the guy. He was a good dude. Every once in a while, you know, I have a big box full of tea, and sometimes because I don't want all the boxes, I have this big box, and I just dump a bunch of tea bags in there. And every once in a while, I'll find a Tetley tea bag, which he gave me this box of Tetley tea. And I'll find one. There's probably another 4 or 5 left in the box, in the midst of all these different tea bags. But every time I grab one, I go, thanks a lot, dude, and have a tea, you know, and think about him. He was a nice guy, man. He was a nice guy. I mean, I didn't know him real well, but I did. He came here once, and I met him. He came here once with Rob, and I met them. And then I met them in Pattaya once, and I met just Kevin also in Pattaya once with my friend Steve. And I think Rob was there that time, but there was a time when Rob wasn't there, and it was, you know, he was a good guy. He made me laugh, and you know. And I think that the thing for me is that he always left me in a better mood than when I went to go, when I first went to go see him. I always laughed and had a good time when I was with him, you know, the couple of times that I was with him. And I think that's important, you know. My mother used to tell me that all the time. She said, you know, try to leave people feeling better about themselves than when they first met you, you know, when they first came to see you or whatever. So, that's always a positive, you know. But anyway, man, this stream's gone on for 2:40, 2:10. It's 3.5 hours, which I'm shocked I've gone that far, because this morning, all I did was open up a bunch of browsers, looked at all the different news to see if there's any worthwhile news, and really, yeah, okay, there's a little bit, but I don't know how all of us have passed the time. How are my kids doing? They're fine, you know, they're busy, but they're sad about our dog. But they're fine. I mean, Alex is getting ready to go on a trip to northern Thailand. Nicholas is, I think is he doing his finals now? Yeah, he's doing his finals. Actually, I think he's got a couple projects and a final, and I think then he's done with his term. And Alex is, he'll be done in the middle of December or something. And then he goes into his senior year of college, of university, which that's great. You know, I'm happy. So they're doing well. Thank you for asking. Anyway, I have nothing to do here today, aside from maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll bring home some lunch for the family. Yeah, that's about it. Go to the ATM, maybe buy a little lunch for the family, and that's it. Today is Sunday, so it's a day of rest. A day for me to look through my photos and videos and try to make something up, some kind of a retrospective. You know, try to fire myself up. I mean, you know, I'm looking forward to this trip, but man, it'll be nice. Thank you very much. It'll be nice. It's also nice to look back and see some of the things. I did find a couple of things. I forgot that I went to, what is it called? The Emerald Lagoon or something like that down in the south of Thailand. I can't remember the name of the place. I've been there twice, but we went with my wife and all of us. All four of us went, and we also went with my wife's like nephew or something, and there was about 10 of us all together. No, there was 18 of us. That's what there was. And I know because I found a video of me sitting, maybe some of you guys remember this. I was in the back of a little like songtao that they had that they were driving to. Somebody in the family had a little, like a kind of minibus kind of thing. And for some reason, my stomach was not agreeing with me, and I had to use, here we go at the end of the stream, I had to take a dump, desperately. And I was like, we gotta find a gas station. And we're out in the middle of like Suratani, and there was, you know, we're in the middle of the freaking jungle, you know, with a little road down the street. There's nothing around. Somehow I managed to find it, but then later on we went to this lagoon, forget what it's called, and I have a video of me sitting there talking about Nicholas and I, how we're sitting in this kayak paddling through this forest, this jungle, and how dangerous it was. And how I didn't know if we were gonna make it. I don't know if I ever put that up in a video or anything. I don't think I did. I didn't have my shirt on or anything like that. I'm just talking out my ass. I showed it to my wife last night and she just goes, ugh. She's pretty critical of my stuff. She's just like, you're a dork kind of look. It always comes down to the other types of streams at the end of the live stream. Yeah. You know, I wonder if I'm the only stream where this subject comes up on a regular basis. Even on the bamboo raft that I was talking about, I talked to Longhorns about, hey, if we ever go down, if we manufacture, we have somebody make us a bamboo raft, we're gonna have to make sure that there's a place for us to sit, a little bamboo chair where you can sit, and there's a hole, like a chute, like the poop chute. So that if we have to go, there's a place to go right there. And then you got a little bucket and a little scooper where you can get the water and clean yourself off and everything. I think that'd be great. So it always comes down to the end of the stream. But I do have that little video. Maybe I'll put it up. I don't know. That might be like a members type. I can only see myself getting scorched for putting that one up. Anyway. Forget when on stream. Usually it's 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 or 9, something like that. I've thought about doing night streams and stuff like that. But anyway, you know, I need to put them up really what I should do is put them up 2 days, 3 days in advance. I never managed to do that. I don't know why. I need to get my shit together, you know. I need to, like Longhorns was telling me yesterday, you need to get organized, you need to make a schedule, and you need to stick to it. Carlos, how you doing? Just what the locals want to see. Well, you know, they wouldn't be able to see me. You know, they wouldn't be able to see me. It's like a little outhouse on top of the bamboo raft. It'd have to be like a little outhouse because you don't want to be sleeping next to the hole where you just shit. You know, like, that's too much. Anyway, what I was saying before though is that he's said to me, you need to get organized and start having a schedule and sticking to it. And you know, I did tell him the other day, I said, I'm not going to stream tomorrow. I promise you I will not stream. He goes, well, I've heard that before. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm not going to stream tomorrow. You know, I'll believe it when I see it. And I said, okay, I'm going to give you my Joe Namath guarantee. I guarantee you I will not stream tomorrow. And I didn't. And so then yesterday I said, I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow, but I forgot. I thought yesterday was Friday all day. And I said, I don't think I'm going to stream tomorrow. And he goes, you're not going to stream on Sunday? And I went, oh shit, forgot it was Saturday. I said, Sunday I'll probably stream. So anyway, all right, I could go on and on and on. Buy some grease-proof paper and a catapult? No, I don't want to do that. Listen. You don't want to get around. I pity the fish. That's how bad it would be. I pity the fish. If you're using a chute, and that's another reason why if you're taking a train, you better be prepared because that's all it is a little chute there's a metal toilet and it's nasty. They don't have people that go in and like they do in the mall where they're scrubbing the toilets as you're in there taking a piss and some lady comes in, she's scrubbing all the toilets while you're taking a piss. They don't have that on the trains. The trains in Thailand are they could be a little cleaner. I don't want to put that on anybody or any animal. I have too much respect to do that to anyone. It's just too nasty for me. Let it go down. You know what? The fish can have at it. It's fish food. All right? Now, we don't need to continue talking about this. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for all the... Yes, nature will sort it out. Thank you for any and all contributions. Thank you for those that have come today, that will come tonight, tomorrow. If you buy any shirts, great, I appreciate it. And what else? I guess that's it. Carlos, how you doing? I suspect you're doing well. Yeah, hit that like button. Fire in the hole. There you go. Anytime my ass goes down over a toilet, it's fire in the hole. I still eat spicy food. I don't like it as much as I used to, but I still do. Last night I had some, you're welcome everybody. I'll leave you with this. Was it last night? Night before last? With the kimchi. Oh, I have this air fryer. And my wife got these big pieces of pork and put them in there. It's basically pork belly. She put it in the air fryer and she slices up the pork. You get the pork and see you later, Dallo. You get the pork, you slice it up, and you get some cabbage leaves or a cabbage leaf, and then you put some kimchi on top of it, and you roll up the cabbage leaf and you stuff it in your mouth. Now, it wasn't that spicy going in. The kimchi wasn't that spicy. The pork was fantastic, but the kimchi wasn't that spicy. But going out, there's fire in the hole. That's my point. A short story made long. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. All right. So thank you very much again. Don't forget thumbs up, subscribe, all that other stuff. And until next time, choke D, jerk and my, choke D. And I'll talk to you guys in the next couple of days. In the next couple of days, I should know exactly when I'll be and exactly where I'll be, which I have no idea at this moment. So I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.